Oh.
We're talking about the Bible, and I know Tucker isn't saved, so
Damn it,
hopefully this compels him. So today I'm going to tell the story of Sampson.
My mom loves this
Sampson
segment.
is an Old Testament figure, and most people think, I know Samson, can't cut your hair, gets with Delilah. Nay. They don't know the whole story of Samson, and
strong man.
It's longer, but there aren't necessarily more lessons. You got to look for them. So it begins in the prequel stage of Samson, going to his parents. So as with many things for the Jews, they did something that pissed God off, and God said, fuck you, you're going out of my presence again, go be slaves to some other people. And so there's some time into that, all the Israelites and Jews are really upset and just waiting for that next judge or prophet to come down and pull them out of this muck. And so one day, this guy named, the fuck was his name? Manoah, we're going to call him Mano from now on for short. Mano and his wife were just a random poor couple of Jews, very poor Israelites, and one day an angel came down in angel form to Mano's wife and said, hey, you're about to give birth to someone who's going to totally change the direction of this tribe. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. And he says, yeah, it is. Now all you got to do is make sure you don't smoke, don't drink, don't eat any grapes, nothing fermented, no mixed fabrics. You're a Jew, you know the rules. She
Shellfish.
goes, yeah, I know, I got it all planned out. Just don't do any of that, and then you'll have a son. He's going to do some fantastic things. Angel poops away. She goes back to her husband Mano and is like, you will not believe what happened. And I'm going to read in the NIV Bible, the New International Version. This is exactly what she says, and I'm going to say it in Trump's voice because it makes sense. A man of God came to me. He looked like an angel of God. Very awesome. That's what she said in the Bible. She goes up, says it was very awesome, and the husband goes, oh my God, so all you got to do is not drink or smoke or anything, and then this kid's going to come out good? She goes, yeah. He goes, all right, well, what do we do afterward? When the kid's here, how do we raise him then? She goes, oh, I didn't ask him that. Shit. Should we call him back? It's like an angel. You can't call him back. And so he goes to the temple, prays, and goes, please send someone else here and tell us how to raise the kid. We get it. Don't make a little fetal alcohol syndrome baby. But after he's born, how do we make sure he becomes a good dude and does all the things you want? And so a few days later, a man, regular old looking man, really an angel, comes down the road, talks to Mano, goes, hey, the Lord pushed me to come to you and tell you that all you have to do for your child is make sure that a razor never touches his head or any part of his body. A razor is in shaving, removing hair. And also make sure that your wife abides by all those rules I said before. And he was like, okay, yeah, it's not that helpful, but you are just a guy, you're not an angel, so I guess this is how God wants me to figure it out. Okay, whatever, he doesn't know this guy's an angel. He goes, well, at the very least, let me be hospitable. Stay with me for dinner. And the angel, who's not letting on, goes, no, I don't want to stay for dinner. He goes, I insist, you must stay for dinner. The angel goes, if you're going to, or I have a goat. We'll kill the goat and we'll eat it together. He goes, I'm not going to stay for dinner, but if I do stay, as you're asking me, take that goat and sacrifice it to the Lord. And Mano is like, oh yeah, like this goat, my only goat. You want me to burn my own? Do you look around? We don't have a lot of goats. We've got one goat. This is our food for the next month.
Can't be fiddle fucking our goats to death.
Yeah, no, we have one goat. I was planning on eating this for a while, but yeah, I guess I'll just burn it. I'll just burn it for God. Because you're telling me to. Have you looked around my house? Have you looked around my 1-bedroom dirt floor thatched roof house? Do you smell salmon in here? We don't have any fish. That's my wife's Bronze Age pussy you're smelling. It's horrible in here. We have nothing to eat, and you're asking me to sacrifice this goat and burn it to you. And so he burns the goat begrudgingly, and he also burns some grain with it because the Lord is notorious for needing a side. And after all that is burned, the guy just leaves. They're hungry, and 9 months later, out pops happy Sampson, ready to take on the world. And as with most Bible stories, it doesn't talk about the childhood, it goes straight to the adulthood of the character. So now we're early 20s, pussy slaying Sampson. He's got long hair like a rock star. And so he's
Fabio.
He's perfect. He's Fabio. Let's picture him like that, a little more matted and nasty. And a beard, because you can't shave anywhere. And so
Jew.
He is...
no manscaping.
Yeah, and so he is...
Oh, God.
He's trolling around this city of Timnah, looking for Strange. And he comes across this lady, and he's totally infatuated with her. He fucking loves her. And so he goes back, but she's a Philistine. That's the problem. She's not Jewish, she's a Philistine. And they are very much in competition with each other right now, these two tribes. And the Philistines are much stronger and larger, and so it's not something you want to tango with. And so he goes back to his family, and he goes, hey, I found this woman, I want her as my wife, so I need you to go there and get her for me, because that was back when women were treated appropriately as property instead of like having to pretend to care about what they say. And so now they go, the dad goes, "Oy vey, son, you're going to go and find someone who's not Jewish? My goodness, no, there's plenty of good women right around here. Look at Rachel." And he goes, "Rachel, she looks like a fucking sundial with that schnoz. No, I'm not going for Rachel, I'm going for that Philistine woman, that sexy bitch right over there." And so the dad goes, "Okay, yeah, I'll back that." They all, he goes back to the family. On the way, goes back to the woman's family he's interested in order to relay to her that, all right, wedding's on. And on the way, he's by himself. A lion leaps out of the brush, comes to attack him. The Lord imbues him with, that strength that he has from his hair, and he tears the lion apart, like the way you would a goat, was the example in the Bible, which apparently is like, you ready for goat? Like, no. And so he tore the lion apart, left it there, and miraculously, like, if I killed a lion, that would be in my Tinder bio, that would be in my Twitter bio, that would be my permanent Facebook status, it would be on my resume. Everyone would know. He didn't tell anyone. And it was weird because he was a braggadocious fella. And he continues on, tells his woman, hey, wedding's on, I got to go back to my people, grab my posse, my friends, family, and then we'll meet you back here, have the whole shindig. So he heads back, grabs his family, and as they're moving back towards the wedding party, which is they're going to the woman's place in the Philistinian territory, I don't know what it would be called. And on the way back, they see that same lion carcass. And the lion carcass is decomposed a bit. And there are bees swarming all around it. And so Sampson, in what it can only be described as an insane person's maneuver, goes over to the hollowed out carcass of this lion where the bees are, dips his hands into the carcass, and retrieves 2 big ol' handfuls of honey. And so the rest of the walk there, he's eating honey out of his hands on the way to his own wedding. And to set the stage, this is a man who lives in the year 1, who has never showered, he has never been allowed to cut a hair from his head, and he's eating honey out of his hands on the way to his wedding. There's never been a stickier human being in history than Samson on this walk. It's like, it's not bad enough that you have, I lived 500 years before Christ shits every day. You're going to eat 2 handfuls of honey on the way to your wedding? You goddamn maniac. And so he eats his honey. It's disgusting and sticky by the time he gets there. They get there, though, and it goes off without a hitch for the most part. Like, Samson's dad was, like, pissed because he was like, you're going to associate with these uncircumcised folks? But Samson, like, convinced him. He's like, Dad, believe it or not, it never crossed the minds of these savages to bring a sharp stone to the genitals of young boys. It's like, that's horrific. It's terrible. He's like, I'll get over it, And so they get over it, and they have the wedding. It's a nice little occasion. And after the wedding, they're all sitting around in a powwow, and Samson goes to the relatives of his wife, the Philistines, and goes, hey, I'll tell you a riddle. And if you can riddle me that, I'll give you 30 outfits of linen. If you can't figure it out, though, you got to give me 30 outfits of linen. And they're like, seems like a pretty reasonable thing. All right, let's do it. And so he tells the riddle of, and I read it, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. Now, obviously, this was him talking about out of the eater, the lion, honey comes, that's sweet, and out of the lion, something strong, something sweet, like that kind of shit. But it's cheating. You can't make a riddle based on an experience that only you know about and then expect people to understand. Like, that's like the self-actualization of a 2-year-old, where you think if you saw something, everybody's seen it, and everybody will get it. Like, that's retardation. So my contention is that he was cheating.
Okay.
He was cheating from the start, is my contention. Samson was. He was giving a riddle in bad faith.
It's like playing peekaboo and covering your own eyes.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Woody, I've got an interesting riddle about my 7th grade birthday party. Now, no one needs the details or the tendrils going out that'll give you hints. Like, it's not fair. And so he gives this riddle, and nobody can figure it out because they weren't there. And so like 2 days later, the family of the woman go, hey, you got to get this fucking riddle because I don't know if you've looked around, but we're not exactly running a fucking courtyard Marriott. We don't have linen to hand out. Like, we took this assuming we know the riddle. We're pretty good riddlers, but we don't have any linen. We're going to be humiliated and embarrassed, and we're not really on friendly terms with the rest of their tribe, just this family now. And so she goes, okay, I'll go do it. And so for the next 5 days, the word nag is used in the Bible. She nags and cries and bitches for so many days in a row that eventually Samson on the last day goes, yeah, okay, the answer is the lion. The answer is the lion and honey inside it, okay? Please, oh my God, week one of our marriage. Golly, I should have listened to my parents, you dumb whore. And he's furious. And 20 minutes later, she leaves. 20 minutes later, all the Philistines come back, and they're like, Samson, we figured out your riddle. And he's like, did you? Did you figure out my riddle? What is it? And so they told him, what is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than lion? Which apparently was the two questions that aren't a riddle, or the answer to a riddle that was two questions that weren't. These ancient people didn't understand what riddles were.
He answered the question. Anyway.
Yeah, and so they give him that, and he goes, cheated. You cheated. I just gave my wife that answer, and she went and gave it to you. And so Samson stood up calmly, and then he murdered 30 people. With his bare hands, he went around the camp, and he murdered 30 people, and then he left, saying, someday I'll get my vengeance. So at this point, Samson is a terrorist at this point. You know, he does not take kindly to those other folks. And so from there,
Samson is Jewish.
Home.
He killed the terrorists. Correction.
Yeah. He spends some time like mulling his own shit over in the desert or whatever while everybody else goes back. He eventually returns home and goes to his dad. Hey, I want to talk to my wife. He goes, your wife? That Philistine woman who lied to you and you killed 30 of her family members? No, when I was leaving, I said I gave her to someone else. Like, no, that's not your wife anymore. And Samson goes, God, fucking bullshit. Well, then I definitely need to get my vengeance. You know, she's dead to me. And so he does what any sane person would do. He's got to get vengeance on these Philistines. They're stronger. They're more powerful. What do? What you do is you go into the woods and you catch 300 foxes. 300 foxes. Have you ever tried to catch one fox? It's fucking impossible. You're not going to catch 300 foxes. It's insanity. And so he catches 300 foxes. And then he does another sane thing. He takes them 2 by 2 and ties their tails together. And then once he has 150 paired off fox pairings, very hard to manage. You settle down. He puts torches in the night, ties those into the tails, and lights them and releases them all over Philistine territory and all of their crops. And so the next morning, when they wake up, they're like, there's a lot of burned foxes and no crops left, and there's a torch in all the foxes' tails, and this is very methodically done. A serial killer is in our midst. Is this that terrorist Samson? Is this that terrorist Samson that we're all so scared of all the time, with the strength of 10 men and the temperament of a 1-year-old? Like, is this the man? And so they're terrified of Samson because he just destroyed everything. And so the Philistines go back, and they go, they go to the woman that he initially married, the Philistine woman, and her father, and they're so mad they just burn them too, probably with the last remaining pair of foxes running around. And they burn those 2 to death. And then I'm trying to remember what happened here, sorry. It's so in depth.
You couldn't.
Oh yeah, I remember. Now, yeah, you couldn't just throw torches.
No, he had to tie.
You didn't want to throw a torch when you could swing 2 foxes around like a madman and hurl them. But and after he did this, after he did all the fox shenanigans, he went and retreated into a cave in the wilderness and just hung out there. And so after that, all the Philistines, like a few thousand of them, are like, this is horse shit. We are marching to the Jewish camp of Judea, and we're going to make them give us Samson. So they march over there, and they go, where the fuck is Samson? He just tied a bunch of hundreds of foxes together and burned our crops down after killing 30 of us for cheating on a cheat riddle of his. And they go, we don't know where he is. Frankly, we'd be happy if you caught him. He's causing a lot of mischief, and he's not reflecting well. He's terrible PR. We're a very small tribe, and he's causing a lot of mischief out there, and people keep coming up to us. And they go, okay, well, we believe you. We're going to search anyway. They search. They go, all right, we totally believe you, but we're way stronger than you, so while we're here, we're just going to conquer you. And they're like, fuck, we should have seen that coming. And so they got conquered right there, too. And so then 1,000 Jews from Judea go to that cave, and they go to Samson, and they go, we got to turn you in. And Samson's like, you couldn't turn me in if you wanted to, but here, how about this? You tie me up, and you bring me back there to those thousands of guys, and you say, we got him. We got the guy for you. He's right here. And then I'll burst out of there. And then they go, oh, dude, that's an incredible idea. And then Noah, you can throw him a sword. And Ezekiel, you can throw him a shield. And Samson goes, no! I'll use the jaw of an ass. and then they all go, yeah, whatever you want to do, man. Just remember, like, we're on your team. He goes, yeah, jaw of an ass. This is a good idea. And so they take him over there, bound up, and they get him close enough to the Philistines, and they go, here he is. And he gets close, and he bursts out with his ass bone jaw and smashes 1,000 of them to death. 1,000 people he murders with the jawbone of an ass.
Well, he was right.
1,000. Yeah. And as they're watching it, Ezekiel's like, well, we appear quite the fools. he really didn't need the sword and shield. And so after he's finished massacring 1,000 people dripping with blood, not like in movies like Braveheart or Predator where there's like drips of their own blood a little bit. I mean like half a second after you get out of the pool, that level of drippage in blood, there's a snail trail of all blood types smeared around this land. And he comes back up to them, and all the Jews are like, frankly, Samson, half an hour ago, we were ready to turn you in. Never before has there been such a political turn in an environment. Raise your hand if you don't want Samson to be in charge. Everyone wants you to be in charge, Samson. And so Samson, dripping with blood, decides he's going to be in charge. And so after that, though, he decides he needs a little more, just a touch more vengeance.
Jesus Christ. All they did was cheat on a riddle, for fuck's sake.
Dude, that's all throughout the Old Testament. They'll be like, and someone of the Ammonites stole a goat, and the Jewish Old Testament God is like, and he smout 50,000 of them for it. It's insane. But now gets to the point that people are more familiar with. Samson and Delilah. So a little more time passes, and he falls head over heels for this lady Delilah. And she's a fox. Like, they were, like, back in the day, they were the Brangelina of the day. And so it wasn't like a relationship. Everybody fucking knew Samson was plugging Delilah. And so the Philistines go to Delilah and are like, hey, you got to give us info on how he gets his strength, because we got to get rid of this. The Philistines, we're rightly looking for vengeance here. We've lost thousands of people to this madman. Look at that. We don't know where he is. We're whispering right now. He's terrifying. Like, and so they basically convince her to be on like a little secret agent. And so she goes to him one night after they bang, and she goes, Samson, what gives you all your strength? And he goes, well, if they'd only known to tie my hands with 7 unused bowstrings, they would have never had that problem. I would have been as weak as any other man. And so during the night, she tied his hands with 4 unused bowstrings, woke up to, or 7 unused bowstrings, and the Philistines are there waiting, ready, anticipating picking him up, and he wakes up, bursts out, and murders a dozen or so of them. This time in self-defense, fair enough. Yeah. And then I guess they go back to bed being like, why I oughta, to Delilah. And the next day, he tells her this rinse and repeat. Why'd you lie to me last night? And he doesn't ask, why'd you try to have me murdered and captured? He just goes with it because he's an idiot. And he goes, all right, well, if you use like brand new rope, that'll get me. They've only ever used rope on me. That's why I can burst out. And so they do that. Once again, bursts out, and the 12 anticipating and terrified Philistines
are like, we know what happens here, guys. We didn't want to be here.
oh, we're group 2? It's always group 3 or 4 that gets them. Like, and that's, damn it.
We saw what you did just now. I don't.
Oh.
The bodies are still here.
Samson, I told you to move them. And so he murders all of them. Then I guess Delilah once again gets off scot-free. The next day he tells her, if you braid my hair in this way, I'll be helpless. So she does that. The third group of a dozen or so Philistines stand up. He's like, I'm not even tied up this time. Wah, 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 wah. And it beats the shit out of him, kills him. And then finally she badgers him enough that he goes, my hair is the source of my strength. If you cut it off, I got nothing. Jesus Christ, will you shut the fuck up? Like, Samson has terrible choice in women, but it's good to see some things never change. So, the next day, he's sleeping, or next evening he's sleeping. She snips his hair off. Then the Philistines come in, and he stands up to fight him, and he's just a normal dude now. He doesn't have his superpowers. God said, I'm only interested in lustrous locks. You know, that's all I'm in for. And so they come in, they pin him down, they immediately gouge his eyes out and blind him, and so he can't be a threat anymore. And then they drag him off and they give Delilah all sorts of sweets and spoils. And so then they take him blind and beaten and a regular man, and they put him on a grain mill where you're just like what they would use donkeys for. Like you're just pushing this thing around and around and around. And he does that for months. And I guess everybody forgot, let's give this guy regular haircuts. Because a couple months later, there's a big Philistine celebration, much similar to when we caught Bin Laden. like everybody's like, yeah, we got him, yeah! Like, they're all in this big, beautiful building, all the Philistines. There's 3,000 people on the roof and all the elites underneath. And they say, bring out Samson, bring him out, bring out this murderer! And they're jeering at him because everyone there has someone they know who's been murdered by this animal. And they put him up there, they throw stuff at him, and they go, yeah, get out of here, and he collapses. You know, his hair's gotten a little longer now. And he stands up, still blind, and he goes, please, let me lean up against a pillar. And so they put him up against a pillar to lean there. And he summons God and says, God, with my last act, please let me bring this down upon the Philistines. So he puts one hand on one pillar, one hand on the other, and he uses his last bit of strength and collapses it and murders another 5,000 Philistines with his final breath.
Well,
and this is the story that I used to guide my entire life. In the words of Kyle. Yeah.
Seems just.
yeah. Tucker wasn't a believer before that story,
No,
but now...
the first 5 minutes of that story, I was like, I'm bored. And then it just, Samson, you know, he really just kept going, huh?
I wonder if after about 7,000 murders, if he felt like he had gotten revenge for them cheating on the riddle yet.
I can't believe somebody would cheat on this riddle. Yeah, if there was ever a time to think, man, the Bible is, what a wonderful story that could be animated and made into. It's now. I want to see an animated Bible series.
That and Job.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, was it?
It was a movie, a live-action movie. I saw it.
I don't want a live action.
I don't remember
movie.
quite like that.
I want
Well,
Old
sorry that one
Testament
took so long,
animations.
but I wanted to
No, it
start
was
from the
great.
birth.
You made up for it. You made up for it. It really came to fruition. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And I hope you learned something.
I mean, I knew Samson is a strong-ass dude and killed a lot of people, but I was unaware that he literally slaughtered thousands of people with the jaw of an ass, which is just not, like, out of all the weapons that you could kill people with. That's a... Like, wouldn't you get tired around 200, 250? You're like, damn, got 750 more of these.
Yeah, it wasn't just physical strength. It was like, that hair was giving cardio points for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what life lesson I'm supposed to take from that, but my wife cheated in Uno one time, and I feel like I've got some killing to do.
Kill her family!
But did you murder all of her Facebook friends?
Yeah, that's really...
Not yet.
But then after that, to really get it, you got to murder the friends and people you may know of their friends.
She's not on Facebook. I'm
like the suggested follows on Twitter. You got to get them. Do you guys want to hear about Moses
Oh, yes.
and the story therein? Now, Queb, you come from a heathen place far, far away where you don't follow the scriptures. So,
The what?
some of this, the scriptures of the Lord, the Bible and shit. I'm just being a dick. Yeah. So this is a very long story, so I'm going to have to abridge some certain parts.
I mean,
So
I know Moses.
you know of Moses. Okay,
Yeah.
so you know who he is. So Moses was a Jew, and he was born a slave in Egypt. And right in his generation of being born, the Jews were proliferating so much in Egypt that the Pharaoh at the time was like, there are way too many Hebrews being born. If they decide to revolt, we're kind of up Schitt's Creek, because we've had them here for a couple hundred years and they're really starting to multiply. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill all the firstborn males that are under like 2 years old. And so he sends his soldiers out to pretty much every little hut everywhere, starts killing all of the little babies, pulling them from their mother's teat, all the rest. And Moses' mother is like, fuck, I can't let this happen. So she takes some tar, puts it around a wicker basket, and then puts Moses in there, hands the basket to her daughter, Moses' older sister, and goes, go and put this in the Nile River quick before the guards get here. We can't let them know. So she runs over to the Nile, puts Moses in, and then kind of hides in the reeds and watches. And before too long, dodging crocodiles and hippos and whatever else was there in olden days, makes it to a bank, kind of gets stuck in some reeds near the palace of the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh's daughter comes down, sees the basket, curious, picks it up, opens it up, sees a little Hebrew boy in there. And she's like, oh my God, so cute, so cute. And so she picks up the baby, goes back to the palace, and she's like, Dad, can I keep it? I know literally last night at dinner you were like, we got to kill the little Hebrew boys, but what is one little baby Jew going to do? Please, can I keep it? Please, Dad, please. He's like, all right, you can keep the one baby Jew, but that's it, no more. And she goes, thank you so much, it's all I ever wanted. And so they raise Moses as an Egyptian prince. But of course Moses knows the whole time as he's being raised, you are a Hebrew, that's who you are, but we're raising you special, and so on and so forth. And so Moses kind of given better jobs. So while the rest of all the Jews and Hebrews were slaving away building pyramids or whatever they were doing, he was kind of like an overseer. And one day out there on the workforce, he was overseeing an Egyptian slave master berating and disciplining one of the Jews. And this slave master got so out of hand that he beat that Jew to death. And Moses lost his mind and proceeded to go into like a blackout, beats that Egyptian to death. And he stands up, and that Egyptian's dead. Meanwhile, like, his fists are bloody, and he's... and all the other Jews standing around him are like, Moses, the fuck? We're the ones who are going to pay for this, dude. Like, you're in a good enough place. Like, we're in trouble. Moses is like, I get it. Totally my bad. But I got a piece, because I'm out of here. Like, they're going to kill me. And so he starts going into the desert, trying to get away. That's where the burning bush story happens. I'll tell that very quickly. He comes across the bush. The bush goes, Moses, hey, it's me. And he goes, oh. He goes, oh, no, it's just God. And he goes, oh, all right. And the bush goes, Moses, I put you in that position for a reason. You got to go back and release them from slavery. And Moses is like, they're going to kill me. And God's like, kind of implying like, I'll fucking kill you. And so he's like, all right, well, those are two sure things. At least the Egyptians I might be able to sweet talk. So he heads back. He goes back and meets up with Aaron, his brother. And Aaron's kind of his like right-hand man, prophet kind of dude. And so before any of the plagues and all that start happening, he goes up, up front to the Pharaoh. And they get into the chamber and everything. And God had told Aaron, hey, throw your staff down in front of the Pharaoh if he gives you any guff. And he'll be very impressed by what I'm about to do to that staff. And so they get in there pretty cocky, pretty confident. And Moses is like, hey, God told me you got to let all of the Jew slaves go. And the Pharaoh's like, why'd you even come back, Moses, first of all? And second, no, eat shit. Not a chance. No way. And so Moses gives Aaron like a sideways look. And Aaron throws his staff down, immediately becomes a mighty serpent, a big snake on the ground, slithering around the throne room. And the Pharaoh's like, frankly, that's pretty cool. So he summons his wizards and his warlocks or priests or whatever. And he goes, hey, guys, can you guys do the thing where you throw your staff on the ground and it turns into snakes? And they go, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fucking easy. So all like 10 of them throw their staves on the ground, and all of them turn into snakes too. And the Pharaohs, and, so everybody's got a snake on the ground.
Snake makery.
Snake makery. And so Aaron's snake eats all of their snakes. And then the Pharaoh's like, all well and good, but this was not a who can make the bigger snake competition. This was just a who can make snakes with magic competition. So I'm not convinced. Eat shit. I've got way more magic men than you, and way more sticks to turn into snakes, if need be. And so Moses and Aaron leave humiliated. It's like they got pants. So they go out there, and God tells them up front, he's like, hey, I knew that trick wasn't going to work. I just sent you in there to set the stage. But I'm going to send a series of plagues upon the people of Egypt, and I will harden the Pharaoh's heart so that he will not agree to anything after any of them until all of them are complete. And Moses and Aaron are like, why would you tell us that? Why would you let us know that no matter how good a salesman we are now, you're going to keep them from saying yes until the very end? Why would you pull the whatever? Because obviously they're not going to be as good a salesman if they know it's going to fail no matter what. So he tells them, all right, go down to the Nile, slam your staff all dramatically on the water. Every bit of water in the Nile and in every pot, every pan, every clay jar in all of Egypt is going to turn to blood. And so he goes down there, slams the staff, immediately everything is bloody, except for the water that the Jews had. That's totally untouched. And so it starts to smell really bad after 2 days. And so they go back to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's like, honestly, this sucks. I am fucking thirsty. And I've had nothing but blood for 2 days.
Let's get your iron.
And so Moses is like, all right, well, are you willing to let us go? And Pharaoh goes, one sec, real quick. Hey, magic men, wizards, can you turn water into blood? And they go, oh, hell yeah. And so they turn some water into blood. Pharaoh immediately goes, fuck, that was a waste. Can you guys turn blood into water? And then they go, no, we can't do that. And he goes, oh, damn it. Well, Moses, I promise I will let you go if you turn all this blood back to water. And Moses goes, oh, hell yeah. Swings his magic sword, his magic staff, rather, all of it back to water. Pharaoh immediately goes, ha, you fell for it. No, absolutely not. Eat shit. So they go back, and God is like, don't worry, I knew that would happen too. Moses is like, this is gonna be a trend, Aaron. We better get used to this. God goes, all right, next, go strike the Nile again with your staff, and I will summon forth a horde of billions of frogs, and they're all gonna just wreak havoc. And they're like, but what are frogs gonna? He's like, silence! You will do the frogs! And so they go back down to the Nile, slam the river. Immediately, billions of frogs start jumping out, and they weren't just coming out of the river. Egyptians were sitting there getting their rice out of their fucking pot or whatever, and frogs start jumping out of there. And after another 2-3 days of frogs, everybody did some gigging, had a fun time the first day, but you'd only do so much. And then after that, they go back to Pharaoh, and they go, are you getting tired of the frogs yet? He goes, honestly, I have an enormous palace, and I've just paid people to stomp on them as they try to get in. It hasn't been an issue. And frankly, Ted, head wizard, he showed me how to make frogs. Stop making them now, Ted. There's enough. And so I can do that too. Not that impressed. But once again, my wizards don't know how to get rid of frogs. Do you know how to get rid of frogs? And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, all right, get rid of the frogs, and I promise I'll let you go. Moses waves his staff, all the frogs. Okay, this is an interesting thing. Kind of like in Skyrim, where you run out of magicka, and you have to wait to recharge. God used too much of his magicka to create all the frogs, and so he wasn't able to just suck them back into oblivion. He just killed all of them. Just all these frogs died, and so the next couple verses in the Bible are like, and they swept the frogs into piles, and did they reek? And that kind of. And so there's just big piles of rotting amphibians. And so then immediately the Pharaoh goes, eat shit. No, my heart feels hard all of a sudden. No. And so they go back. I'm going to lump plagues 3 and 4 together because there's fucking 10 of these. And plagues 3 and 4 were not original. One was gnats and one was flies. And they both basically happen the same way, where God tells them, do this, hit the ground and every mote of dust will turn into a flea that will be leaping. It'll look like Woody's carpet, across the whole land of Egypt. And that's what he did. And then eventually goes back into the throne room, goes, hey, you impressed? And he goes, no, all of my magic men have been making fleas all morning to show they can, but we don't know how to get rid of them. And so swings his staff, all of them go. Pharaoh says, eat shit. No, you can't leave again. And so then they go back to God. And God goes, all right, we're about to turn this stove up to medium. And they go, can we just go to high? We just go to high. Because at this time, they don't know the future, but they do know that God is obsessed with round numbers and the number 7. And so like in Aaron and Moses' talk, they're like, this is either going to 7, best case scenario, worst case scenario, 10. So just keep forging through. So the 5th one is, he goes, all right, Moses, slam your staff on the ground, and every single animal that Egyptians own is going to die. All of them. They're all going to die, except for the ones that the Jews own. And so he does that. All of their animals die. Goes back in there and goes, hey, have you noticed anything about your entire economy, Pharaoh? And he goes, yeah, it's destroyed. It's crashed. Thousands will starve. Millions will starve. We have no more animals. And they go, yeah, that sucks. And then he goes, all right, we'll bring all our animals back to life, and then I'll let you go. And then they're like, actually, that's one that we don't know how to do that. Even God can't bring it back. And he goes, all right, well then fuck you. Get out of here. Sends him back again. Then God goes, all right, they've been very uncomfortable in their lifestyle, but physically they haven't felt the burn. So Aaron, I want you to walk down to the Nile, grab some fine sand on the beach of it, toss it in the air. And everyone in Egypt will be stricken with boils. And so throws it in the air. Everyone in Egypt has boils, terribly. And after a couple days of the boils, shows back up at the Pharaoh's palace. Goes, hey, all of us Jews are looking fantastic out there. Nice olive skin, looking good. Noses for shade. Everything's going well. And he goes, well, for me, it's been terrible. Moses actually asked, he's like, hey, where's all the magic men? Where are all your magic men? And they go, well, actually, they got hit extra hard with the boils, so they called in sick. And so their magic men are out. They can't compete anymore with this. Pharaoh promises him, he's standing in front of his throne because he has so many ass boils. It's impossible to sit. And he says, I promise you guys. I promise you, I'm in my head. I know I'm going to say you can go as soon as you get rid of these boils. I promise. And then the boils are removed by Moses. And then immediately Pharaoh's like, I want to say you can go, but the only thing that my heart is so hard. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to... Here, listen to this. I'm trying to say, yes, you can go. No, you can't leave. Did you hear that? I'm trying so hard to say, I guess you guys can't go. I literally can't. And, of course, Moses and Aaron are like, yeah, because you're getting fucked with by our God, who's kind of a cunt. And God already told them at this point, hey, the only reason I'm keeping this charade going is because I need people in the future to be able to look back and go, man, the Jewish God does not fuck around. And clearly he doesn't. Moses should have went up there and been like, hey, this our God, who's on our team, made us cut the tips of our fucking dicks off before we could join his club. What do you think he's gonna do to you? He's gonna butt fuck you. He doesn't give a shit about you and your people. But as soon as the boils are gone, God hardens Pharaoh's heart again and Pharaoh is forced to say, no, I can't let you go. And so then God goes, all right, you need to go back to the Pharaoh again and tell him to tell every Egyptian that there is a hailstorm coming, the likes of which this country's never seen. And anyone who is outside, who's Egyptian, when this storm hits tomorrow, will die. All of the remaining animals you have, if you have any, will be struck by lightning or hit with hail. And most of the Egyptians were like, dude, this guy's 6 for 6 so far, so I'm staying in tomorrow. But a couple cocky ones were like, oh, what does he know? Osiris will protect us. And so they're out there trying to get their animals back up. Hailstorm comes. Everyone who's outside dies. These are, Moses was telling them up front, these are going to be cantaloupe-sized, hail. And they're like, what's that? And he's like, fuck. A melon, a fruit. And so after 2 days of that, goes back in. Pharaoh's like, this is ridiculous. My entire country's collapsing. Everyone. I've lost hundreds of thousands of people. People are starving to death. Please leave. Just stop this storm. Stops the storm. And a switch, once again, God hardens his heart, and Pharaoh goes, no, can't leave, nope. And they're like, are you sure, Pharaoh? And he's like in the eyes of someone in a movie who has their mind controlled, where he's like, please get out of here, get out of here. No, you can't leave, no, doing that kind of shit. Very fucked up, very, very fucked up. And so then goes back again to God, goes, all right, what do you have for him now? What can we possibly do? And God goes, locusts. I'm going to send locusts on them. And Aaron and Moses are kind of like, that's your third bug-related
That's what I was
plague.
thinking.
And I'm confused in this because it seems like 4 times we've already destroyed all of their food, right? Like, we killed them all with this, we killed them all with that. What are we doing other than creating craters for us to walk through on our way out of here? Like, what's going on? He goes, obviously that part didn't happen in the Bible. You don't talk back to the Jewish God. And so locusts come. Frankly, a lot of the Egyptians were probably happy to see him because they could eat something. Suddenly these frogs were like, bring the frogs back! Like, that again. But they ruin all the rest of the crops. Hundreds of thousands of people are starving. Goes up to the Pharaoh, says, can we go now? Pharaoh wants to say yes so bad. Gets rid of it. Pharaoh can't say yes. God forbids him from saying yes. He hardens his heart. So then he goes back again. The 9th one, which was basically the way this climax worked, is that God was building, stroking himself, getting near climax, and when he got to the hail, that was like edging. Yeah. Where he was about to come, but he couldn't finish there. He has to get to the round number. And so then he had to ease himself off a bit with the locusts, and then the 9th plague, which was darkness, where he just makes everything dark for 3 days straight. Day and night, total darkness. The only light is a beacon from heaven on the Israelites' area where they are, because they're still untouched. They're hunky-dory, good to go. A lot of resentment from the neighboring Egyptians, though. And so after 3 days of that, Moses has to stumble back into the palace. He goes, hey, we can't even, Pharaoh rather goes, hey, we can't even grow the crops back because there's no light. Please turn the lights back on, Moses. Turn the lights back on. Moses turns the lights back on, only to see Pharaoh sitting there, this right in his face, going, hell for it again, idiot! And then sends him back out there. And he says, or no, that's a bit later. So he goes back out there, and then God's ready to climax by now. He's ready to come his wrath all over the people of Egypt. And so he goes back, and God says, hey, we're about to amp this up. It's number 10. All the firstborn children of every Egyptian will die. All the firstborn animals of every Egyptian animal will die. Aaron and Moses are like, there haven't been any fucking animals in 5 plagues! They're gone! And so comes back. There's way too many verses of God going to Moses and saying, all right, need to make sure the Israelites get this kind of goat, get this kind of sheep, do this, don't eat the bones, make sure you put the right amount of blood on the threshold of your door. And so the point of that is that God was going to send the angel of death to come into Egypt, and any house that didn't have blood of a 1-year-old male pure lamb or goat on the top and sides of the doorframe, anyone who had that would be passed over. That's why it's called Passover for the Jews. They're celebrating not being murdered by their vengeful God. And so angel of death goes through, murders every single firstborn child in all of Egypt. The way they describe it in the Bible is that there was not a home in Egypt where someone had not died. Every house in Egypt, because it didn't matter, if you're 50 years old, but you were the oldest of your kids, you're dead. Yeah. You're dead. If both your parents were firstborn, sorry, little Egyptian boy, you're dead. Your parents are dead, and your older sibling's dead. And so it describes the wailing for a while in the Bible, and it says it was a wailing unlike anything that had been heard on this earth before. A wailing, a gnashing of teeth, and for the sadness that these people felt. And it wasn't the elite of Egypt. Every Egyptian, from pharaoh to slave, because they had more than just the Jewish slaves. And so some poor fucker from Babylon, who was also a slave, is like, oh no, not my kids. Or wherever the fuck he's from, up to Norway, grabbed someone, brought him down. Doesn't matter. Go back, and they're about to enter the palace again, and Pharaoh comes out on his stoop or whatever, and is like, get the fuck out! Get out of here now! And they're like, are you serious? Are you for real this time? No takes his backsies. He's like, yeah, for real. Get the fuck out of here. But what Pharaoh had forgotten is that he was not only dealing with God, but also with Jews. And so the Jews said, well, before we get out of here, we're going to need some gold and some silver. Spices to, make sure we're comfortable. And he's like, whatever, dude, whatever. Everyone, give him whatever you have. Give him all the silver and gold you have. Get these fucking cursed people out of here. Out of here. So they all load up in all their shit, and they head off into the desert. And that's where this chapter of the story ends, prior to the whole Red Sea thing.
Yeah.
So that is a very abridged version of the Bible, and it's mostly true.
It's absolutely not true at all, because there were no Jewish slaves in Egypt.
No, I'm saying according to the book, it's pretty true. I mean, the story I told was pretty
accurate to the Bible. I see.
One of my favorite things about Taylor Bible Time is that later on, a couple weeks from now, maybe even a couple months, I will get a call from my parents who fact check it and tell me, like, yeah, you know what? It wasn't that God was edging and about to come during the sixth plague. Like, I remember he described, like, I don't know why they mixed up his, goat hair with his. My mom was like, he was a very hairy guy. I think Taylor didn't exaggerate that quite enough or whatever. But, yes, I can't wait to hear my mom try to take that apart and tell me where you went wrong.
I've seen the movie. Have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
The Disney movie?
Exodus Gods and Kings. Exodus Gods and Kings. So they attack the situation of Moses in two ways, where it's the religious people, they go, oh, it's God has done this, and then you have the scientists which go, well, technically, if you take all the frogs away, obviously there's going to be a lot of flies still alive. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. At first, I thought you guys were like pulling a prank on me with this whole Bible talk.
This is a tentpole topic around here.
I've never, in my few times that I've been on PKA, I've never experienced Bible talk.
Oh, it's highly requested.
It's one of the most highly requested topics, not to jack myself up.
I'm a huge fan of it because like after you hear a ridiculous story like that, you have to stop and remember that there are billions of people who believe this and are willing to kill and die over these facts.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like if you care about like reality, just know there were no Egyptians in bondage in Egypt ever, and if there were, they certainly didn't build any of the pyramids or the structures.
Well, they were never slaves, right? That's what the scientists and
it was professional artisans.
Were never slaves.
These were highly paid craftsmen who actually constructed the things you see in Egypt, all of the pyramids and such. I mean, you could tell that by not just the quality of the craftsmanship, that this was a well-trained
housing,
but also the housing they lived in, the food that they had available, the implements, everything down to the quality of the pottery that they had in their domiciles. These were well-paid artisans of their time who created those giant.
If Woody's mom is going to go through and fact-check me, more important than the facts of the plagues, and he actually didn't slam his staff down there, the actual thing to talk about in that story, to do with the religion of Christianity or Judaism, is that the Lord repeatedly and continually forced the Pharaoh to harden his heart. You can't give someone free will and then force the... What it was is like, when you're dominating a game of Civ or Age of Empires and Queen Elizabeth is like, oh, please let me retire with some dignity. And it comes up as yes or no, and you go, no. And you just burn them down. Like, that's the fucked up part about it, really, as far as like Christian canon, is that God directly intervened, changed the ability to make a decision, thereby infringing on his own gift of free will, in order for his own macabre story to play out.
Yeah, it's
so
like
if
when
there's anything she takes qualms with,
when we used to play Call of Duty 4 and we'd be destroying someone in domination and the game's about to end, so we let them capture 2 flags, so the game will just keep going on for a while and we can torture them even more. Yeah,
that's exactly what God was doing.
That's exactly God is a hateful 14-year-old COD player apparently who just likes playing with his food.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's Old Testament God's a real piece of shit.
Rough customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you told the one before, is it Locke? Let his daughters get raped, maybe?
Yes.
Well,
he was about to let them get raped.
Yeah. But then he went ahead and fucked him himself. So, decide which of those situations is more out there. Well, he was drunk.
Oh yeah. Jeez, Quinn, why are you so judgmental?
Drunk. I mean, you get a little wine in you. Woody.
Yeah.
Get a little wine in you, and then a lot later that night was like, oh, the floor of this cave is so cold. I feel like I'm gonna vomit.
talking about Woody when he was like,
Right. Thank God this cave is so cold.
Yeah, Lot was a pretty devout guy. It's interesting that he was so devout within a city of those who were so the opposite. It's almost as if the story was completely made up and meant to be a parable.
no, I'm pretty sure it's true.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Just
whenever
sit there.
whenever some like historian, air quotes, is like, we believe we found the city of Sodom and the city of Gomorrah. It's like, unless it literally says Sodom on like a big placard that you found outside this motherfucker, like ye old Sodom, like Sodom, house of sodomy and more. Like no, you just found an old fucking city that's been abandoned and destroyed or something like that. Like I hate that so much. Remember when people were always finding the Ark, or not the Ark, but the Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
Noah's
the
Ark.
Ark. Right. They found the Ark like 4 times in my teens.
Yeah.
I was like, but which what? Like
It's
that one has metal in it. Like,
Fun story. One of my good friends, still good friends, his mom was like super religious, right? So she would go to church, and then the pastor is like, you're not allowed to wear jeans. You can only wear like dresses and stuff like that. And she's like, okay, and then does it, right? Throws out all her jeans. And then he comes over and he goes, your son, yeah, that computer of his, it's the devil's inside of him. Demons are inside of him. And she like believed it and was like, so what do I do with his computer? And he's like, give it to me. I'll make sure that the demons, they go away from your son.
Yeah.
And she would come up to me and be like, Jordy, like, you know there are demons in here, you don't go to church. I'm like, listen, like I was 14, 15. I'm like, I don't believe in any of that stuff. You know, I respect you believing in it, and you know, I'm down to have a conversation, but please show me any proof that any of these stories that you just told me is actually real, and I will research it, and then obviously I'm super open to actually believe in something. And she goes and links me this shady article on like Yahoo News of like Noah's Ark has been discovered in Syria or something like that, and I'm like, what? It's just like it's not,
Yeah.
it's fake. It's like, prove
you know
it.
how,
Like,
how boats made of wood stay together for 5,500 years?
No,
in
that
the
it
snow?
doesn't work that way. And then the story ends pretty funny. Well, sad at the same time. She realized at one point, she's like, well, the son's like, well, I want my computer back, and she's like, well, okay, I'll ask for your computer back. And then it turns out that the pastor obviously sold it and cashed in all the money and was doing it to like 20-30 other people. And then she's like, fuck this shit. So
Can I see your
I'm out.
iPhone?
Did she become
Because
less?
I
This
suspect
was
it.
before iPhones.
It's
before
full
iPhones.
of ghosts.
Did she like move away from the church because of that experience?
Yeah.
And
Because
did
the
she
guy,
move away from God too, or just the church?
I think she's still religious, but she's like wears jeans now again. So
One step in the right
Oh,
direction.
she's a
like,
moderate.
not
okay.
that crazy. Yeah.
She's a pants-wearing Christian, one of the good ones.
And swearing Christian.
I want Taylor to tell us the story of Job.
Taylor, that was lost. It's lost footage, really. So, and it was ruined anyway by my internet connection. So,
Okay. You have to like bring up like a moral quandary, Kyle, that would be answered by Job. I can't. This is like think of
None
these
of them.
stories like Magic School Bus. Mrs. Frizz never went out there and was like, "We're gonna learn about the fucking digestive system." It was always because that little fucker with the red hair was like, "I got an upset tummy," so they had to shrink up and go inside. I need a direction, you know. Like, say
I
something.
guess maybe it would be a good one to tell someone where you need to keep believing and stick in there because it's the right thing to do sometimes. Not, maybe like
Never
maybe if you're
give up.
describing work ethic. If you're talking about work ethic, maybe like it's not about this, it's not about that. It's about it being the right thing to do, and you just do it because it's there to be done and it needs doing. I don't know, because the story of Job is awful. It's so awful.
I was trying to think of just any, like, that's how bad the story is in the Bible. Like, you take any other parable, and you can be like, oh, the fish and the, fucking bread that he fed everybody with. That shows that he gave everybody a bunch of food. It's a good moral. If you got food, give it to people. Help them out. You can even pull something out of that. With Job, you have to sit there and think, like, maybe he was, no. No, because he gets goddamn. So basically, Job. The story of Job is if you read through the Bible and you've made it to Job and you're still somehow a Christian, like Job's gonna fucking do you in. Like you're not gonna. So basically, Job starts out very Game of Thronesy, where everything's being built up. Like, wow, what could go wrong here? You know, Ned's got a handle on this whole thing. So Job was the best guy in the whole world, and God knew this. And everybody on Job's block knew that God thought that Job was the best. So there's a little bit of resentment right there, right away. Everybody knows that Job's God's favorite.
But he earned
it. So the devil, who apparently can just, quaffly drift into wherever Jesus currently is, Jesus/God, one and the same. That's in later chapters. I didn't mean to spoil it. But
don't forget the Holy Ghost.
So
yeah, there's another one in there.
The Holy God, the Trinity.
One and a half. Well, half of one.
So Job basically
Good label.
living his life, doing the best he can. Satan goes up to God and says, "Hey, that Job guy, he really loves you, but he's got like 12 kids. He's got a dope house. He's got more crops than he needs. He's got a bunch of animals. He only likes you because you gave him all that shit." And God was like, "That's not true. That's horseshit. And I know that's not true because I'm God. Like I know this. But anyway." God goes, "Okay, I'll indulge you, Satan." God often makes a game of indulging Satan at the expense of those he loves most. It's just something about God. And Satan goes, "Okay." And so Satan goes and he starts making Job's life as fucking terrible as possible. Starts out, what did he do first? I think boils might have been the first one. So basically,
the crops die. All of his animals die, and you gotta. It's not like his like 3 pigs died. Like herds and herds of multiple kinds of, thousands of goats and hundreds of cattle.
Think of this like a factory farm. He was like a big time dude. He wasn't like, "Oh no, Tracy and Susan, my goats." Like it was like they didn't have names. They were thousands of goats. All of his livestock just dies, which is basically like all the money you have gone, and a bunch of predators or whoever else just eating rotting meat. He still is like, "You know what, God, that sucked, but I'm on your team. You're gonna get me through this." And so the devil goes back to God and he's like, "Can I try something else? I didn't go the angle I should have." And God's like, "Fine, you fuck. Like, just get this done. We don't have that many pages in this book to spend on this one dude." And so he goes back, gives Job's entire family boils, pustules all over their body, erupting willy-nilly, just nastiness. They can't sit and eat dinner together. It's disgusting. No one trusts any kind of food that's creamy or indistinct textures.
It ruined couscous for me, Susan. Yeah, God has done this to us.
Yeah. No more quinoa in Job's house after the boils hit. They all sit there, and Job's family isn't quite as hot on this as him. They're like, "God, this fucking sucks." And Job is still like, "Guys, we're sitting in a dope house. All the animals are dead, but we got food right now. God's on our side. So what if we're itchy for a few days? Satan goes back to God again, says, "This fucker actually, he's pretty tough. I gotta hand it to you." And God's like, "I know. I literally saw this coming." And Satan's like, "All right, one more shot. And so goes to Job's house. Job's out and about, taking care of things, taking care of business. Needs to try and rebuild his empire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
He's probably doing the Lord's work out there. He's proselytizing or whatever you call it. He's out there finding new followers.
Yeah. Woke up tender to the bone, and he's like, "I just have to spread the love of the Lord." And so he's out there doing his thing. The rest of Job's family is sleeping in. Like, this is fucking bullshit. God comes down, watches as Satan collapses the whole house on all of Job's children and his wives. I don't know. At least one wife, half a dozen to a dozen kids in there. Every one of them crushed to death. Crushed to death in Job's home amidst ashes and their boils. Just, you can still see they can't even have an open casket funeral. And there's no land to bury them in because it's covered in shit and dead animals, and it's just horrific. And Job comes back, and it's almost like he sees it on the horizon, and he's like, "Oh, no. And he sprints over there, and he's, "Oh, no, Jesus, oh, God." And he tears his clothes, probably tearing a few of those, like, pustules off as well, because he's so overtaken by grief. And he's just sitting in the burnt-out remains of his home, and he's just, rubbing soil and ash onto himself. And as this is happening, it pans up to heaven, and it shows God and Satan sitting there. And God goes, "See, I told you he wouldn't betray me.
And the devil goes, and the devil looks to God and says, "Well, you won again. Here you are, $1."
Brewster's
he
Millions.
that's it. There's no redemption. There's no redemption at the end.
That's
like
it.
at the
End
end
of the book.
day, God doesn't even step in and tell Job what happened. He didn't even step in and be like, "Hey, Job, it's been a lot of nonsense. Just to let you know, you were a pawn in my game, and we won. Hooray!" But really sorry about that. He doesn't even step in. He doesn't even call back and let him know what happened. He just lets him live the rest of his shitty life in squalor. So he did win the bet. And if you can find some kind of moral in there, other than like don't trust deities, then I don't know.
Don't trust God, because he'll
God
sell
knows-
you out for a little street cred to the
What?
Lord of Darkness himself.
His whole family went to a better place.
I
in
am a
heaven.
better friend to you than that.
That's horrible. If I were to tell the people at fucking a
wouldn't sell you out
Tex-Mex
for
restaurant that it was your
darkness.
birthday so we could get free dessert, I would feel bad about that. Much less sabotaging your whole life to win a bet where nothing was wagered. Like, if you own everything in existence and you can summon things just by will, what could you possibly bet? Like, how could it be fun to bet if you already know the end game? I don't know, but it's an interesting story, and I probably got some of it right.
Right.
That sounds all like factually exactly like the way I remember it from Sunday school. Like that's absolutely right. I remember the preacher talking about him. He specifically talked about being in the soot and the ashes and how he's rubbing that all over his body and the wailing, praying the whole time. Just, forgive me for whatever I've done to deserve this, Lord. That's his whole thing. The whole time that he's suffering. Terrible story. I can't find the moral there. I don't get it. It makes me feel real bad.
Perhaps my parents will call me and tell me why it's good.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'd love to hear from them exactly what the story of Job has taught them in life. It's probably like, don't fuck with God. Your dad's like, don't gamble. Clearly, don't gamble. Ever. Not once. I don't know what.
I don't know. I'm not getting the moral.
There's something in there.
There's something.
There's something.
If it is it's not really a moral lesson as much as it is like a warning of what is to come if you defy. No, he didn't even defy God. He did everything right.
No, I feel like the lesson is don't be unlucky.
Yeah. Don't be some overachiever who
don't stand out.
Don't stand out.
Don't succeed.
A little Bible tale for us. It's been a hot second.
Oh, I'd love that. What are you going to regale us with today, Taylor?
I was gonna do Easter, but I wanted to do something a little less common knowledge. And so, are either of you familiar with the tale of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego?
And Abednego.
Wait, say it again.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yep,
Yes.
it's
Kyle does know it.
I went to church.
Yeah, no, I legit thought he made up an eeny, meeny, miny, moe type of thing.
no. Go to Daniel 3-6. I think is where. Yeah, I know because I reread it.
Please don't tell me the story, and I just disappointed my parents.
Yeah, no, and your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Woody's parents. I dare you to find one thing wrong with this. One factoid wrong with this. So basically, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 Jews hanging out in the Old Testament, and this is one of the many times that the Jews or the state of Israel was just getting, or maybe Judah at the time, I don't fucking remember. They were just getting butt fucked by whatever powerful people there were at the time. There were the Babylonians, like Assyrians, like all throughout the ages. This was a Babylon time. And so they were under the thumb of King Nebuchadnezzar, the original Chad. And King Nebuchadnezzar he had his hanging gardens of Babylon. Like, they were the most powerful empire in the world, in their known world at the time. And he had all this dope shit. And he had so much extra gold sitting around that he was like, it would be tight. I'm going to build a 90-foot solid gold statue of, like, myself. Or some, like, guy who's kind of like me there. Or some, god. They don't even, like, really say what it was. And so he built some dope-ass statue. Gold. 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and I looked that up. That's like 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. Like a cubit is apparently like 1.5 feet.
Okay.
So this is a lot of gold. It's a real flex on the rest of the world. And so he builds this, and he's so stoked on it that he invites all of his, I don't remember all the words, I read them down, all of his officials from the kingdom, governors, senators, satraps, I assume some kind of mayor, judges, treasurers, everybody from every corner of the Babylonian kingdom, all the high-ranking, hullabaloo people show up. And they're like, you're right, King Nebuchadnezzar, this is really cool. And he's like, it doesn't stop here, guys. Anytime you hear music from, and I'll read this list, I'll just read what the town crier said. Nation and people of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of the gold king Nebuchadnezzar. And so, first of all, pretty sure a lot of those instruments are made up. And so he sends all the governors and everybody back. They relay that same message. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they weren't just like three random Jews walking around the street in like shitty-ass sandals. They had like, not the overruling part of a province, but they were like a couple levels down. They still had nice houses, nice shit. Like they weren't in poverty or anything. And pretty much immediately, as soon as this town crier said that, he added an addendum, which Nebuchadnezzar also instructed, where he's like, and make sure they also know, anybody who doesn't bow down as soon as all these made-up instruments start going, they're going to be brought back to me, they're going to be brought in front of me, and I'm going to burn them alive in a really cool big furnace I also made. And believe it or not, that was compelling to most people. That got them on board. And so as soon as they heard the zither and the lyre, boom, right down, like almost like Mecca. They're like, even if you can't see it from whatever province they're in, they're like, I'm not risking some ancient cop finding me and ratting me out. I'm aiming right there and praying to Nebuchadnezzar. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, fuck you. They don't say, fuck you. They say, no thanks. No thank you. Their overseer goes to King Nebuchadnezzar. Goes, hey, Neb. Neb goes, don't call me that, because I understand. He goes, King Nebuchadnezzar, these three Jews, they're not bowing down. Did you tell him about the furnace thing? Yes, I led with the furnace thing. Of course I told you. Of course I led with it, you brilliant king. And so Nebuchadnezzar is like, okay, well, bring him to me. Bring them to me. As far as I can tell, they're doing a good job on paper, but if they're not going to do what I want, bring them here. So he brings them there, and he tells them, hey, and King Nebuchadnezzar is like in the opposite situation of like a rock and a hard place. He's between like tits and ass. No matter which way he goes, it's positive. If they show up and they say, I'm not bowing down, he gets a handful of tit, so to speak, where he gets to throw them in the furnace, burn them alive, and ensure that everybody's like, yeah, that bitch is not playing. He will burn you alive, bow. Or, if they do what he wanted them to do, nice handful of ass, and they bow down, it's a little ego stroke where he's like, yeah, all it really took was them seeing me in my glory for them to bow down and do it.
Right.
And so they show up. He says, bow down, or you're going in the furnace. No other options. They say, I will not bow down. No, I'm not bowing down. No, that's not my God. I'm not bowing down to your false idol or whatever the fuck. And he goes like probably a little like kind of like happy about it, like, okay, time to break in the furnace. But he tells his furnace guy first, he goes, turn it up 7 times as hot as normal. And in my head, I'm thinking like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego at this time were kind of relieved, where they're like, oh, he said 7. 7's one of those numbers that works out well. God, if he had said turn it up twice as hot, I would have shit myself. But 7, we should be okay. Thank God. And so Nebuchadnezzar, well, 7, it's a biblical number. Like,
yeah,
it's all
see it a lot.
Oh, you're talking to me, you
like,
know I know that.
Yeah, things happen in 7s all the time in the Old Testament and in the New. And so Nebuchadnezzar wasn't just content with normal soldiers tying him up, because he's brought some of his governors and satraps and people to see this whole thing because he thinks it's cool. It is cool. And he brings out his most burly, ripped soldiers to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And then he tells them, throw them in the fire. And he says that the fires were so hot that when they went to open the furnace to throw the 3 Jews in, that the men throwing them in themselves died. And so he wasted a bunch of juicy man muscle just in trying to get his point across, which I wouldn't have done. I would have used worthless soldiers, but what do I know? I'm no Neb. And so he throws him in there, and he's sitting on his cool gold throne, the extra gold that was left over from the statue, just kind of watching. And I guess there's a fucking window in this furnace that you can kind of see what's going on. And so after a couple minutes, he's like, what? I see. How many Jews do we... Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Was there another one? They got goofy-ass names. There's 4 people standing in there right now. Well, don't take them out yet, because even if it is their god, maybe he'll run out of magic, and they'll eventually burn. You know, like, maybe he can only stave off the flames for so long. So he leaves them in there a couple more minutes to simmer. It becomes clear God's not going to run out of magic. And so he goes, take those guys out of there. Take them out of there. And so he opens up the furnace. The three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego come out totally unscathed. It says they don't even smell of fire.
Are they
They don't
naked?
even smell like they've been there. No, their clothes were fine too. And so they all come out, and all the governors, the satraps, everybody's there. They're looking. And so King Nebuchadnezzar has to pull a World War II Italy, where they switch sides and pretend they've been on that side the entire time. And so he goes, wow! Your guys' God is really cool. I'm on board. You guys don't have to worship this statue. Everyone, we're keeping the statue. It looks awesome. We don't have to pray to it, but you're not getting... No, I don't. We're not getting rid of it. That's fine. You go in the furnace. You're not protected by their God. We're keeping the statue. Does anyone not want to keep the statue? We're keeping the fucking statue. And so he keeps the statue, and then also he's talking to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and being like, wow, your God's like legit real. My gold statue didn't do anything but shine brightly. And so he asks them about their God. They kind of have a little back and forth. And then because King Nebuchadnezzar still has to appear hardcore, he goes, all right, we're all following the Jewish God now. And anyone in my kingdom who questions the Jewish God, I will have you and your family cut to pieces and your homes razed to the ground. And everybody's like, 40 minutes ago, we were talking about the statue. And so everybody unanimously is like, yeah, whatever you say, dude, we're all on board with the Jewish God. I don't want to get cut to pieces. And then, to end it all, he gives Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego a raise and a promotion. So what did we learn?
Hopefully we're fireproof.
I was hoping for insight because I didn't learn anything. Nothing at all. At all.
It's a little similar to David in the lion pit, you know. I feel like they just recycled that one at some point.
You know, they probably did.
If you think about it, they're like identical stories, right? Except you got lions instead of fire.
You think that like one scribe or whatever prophet back in the day was writing that, and the scribe's like, oh, this is very similar. I'm British. This is very similar to David in the lion's den. He's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Name 10 similarities.
I like to think the teacher handed out a project, and she's like, no group projects.
Yes.
Did you guys work together on yours?
Mine's got lions.
Mine's got a cool statue and a king, Nebuchadnezzar.
We should run both through one of those like plagiarism checkers they use in colleges now.
Yeah,
see if anyone
gets
busted.
That would be funny. It's like Jeremiah ripped all of his shit from like Leviticus.
It's like that year that the two Deep Impact and Armageddon came out the same year.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a fuck, what? What? Well, in ours, the asteroid hits. All right.
What I've learned the most is the more like I read these Old Testament stories, and like I've got a couple more stories outlined for the future. I just like doing them in our Just Us Girls chats. Is I'm not learning anything. I'm not learning any morals, any sort of compass for my life for most of these stories.
Really?
It's really just like.
Come on, you get it though, right? You do good.
I get that you're supposed to praise this God.
No, it's about faith under fire, literally.
Yeah, but that's
it's trusting God no matter what, and
In
God
real life,
will
that
be there
doesn't
for you.
work at all.
You
Yeah,
become a
no.
martyr.
Lots of people get cancer and they
Yeah,
pray to God
like,
and they
oh-
believe just as much as these fucks.
Well, that was part of God's plan.
Yeah, that's a convenient out.
That's the truth. Question it, and you could burn too.
I just feel like if I had put my faith in God instead of my reserve parachute 2 months ago, this show would be down one host.
Yeah, dude, if the afterlife is real,
And that would have been God's plan.
if the afterlife is real,
Praise his name.
fucking St. Peter next to the pearly gates is going to pull up one of the many YouTube compilations you listeners have made of my Bible stories, and I'm going straight to hell. So thanks for that. Thanks for that. But it's not real, so don't worry about it.
That's the lesson.
I'm like
learned.
99% sure.
Yeah. If it is
Are you
real,
100%?
Jesus.
Because I'm only like 99%.
No, I would say I'm like high 90s%. But if I die and it turns out it's real, poof, I am not going to be pleased.
Me either. And
Yeah,
if
I'm
you
gonna
think
feel
about
like
it, you wouldn't risk like how do the seatbelts work in your car? It says high 90s. 93, 94% of the time they work. Not really. Doesn't that concern you? Like, aren't you always worried about it every time you get behind the wheel? No.
No, not really. I mean, that like they taught us that in school as like an argument to believe in God. It was called
Yeah.
Pascal's wager, and it was if you believe in God and it doesn't exist, you haven't lost anything. If you believe in God and He does exist, you go to heaven. If you don't believe in God and He doesn't exist, nothing happens. If you don't believe in God and He does exist, you go to hell. So it was like, well, mathematically, you should believe in God. And my thought even then was like, He's gonna know I'm faking. Like he's gonna know that I'm only doing it out of fear of not going to hell, and like
He's
that's
okay
not enough
with
to get
that.
into heaven. I
Look.
don't think so.
Based on what I've read, he seems pretty okay with scaring people into worshiping him.
Yeah, Old Testament God was much more into the fear. Jesus was a little nicer, but Jesus also did, well, not even mean, funny stuff like whip people and when they were like using his. Like the Pharisees and Sadducees were using the church as a bartering ground and trading and financial place instead of using it as a worship place. He just goes in there and starts cracking the whip on all these Pharisees and overturning their tables. That was fun.
Yeah.
Good for him. I liked that.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I brought that up in my my drug class in prison. I don't remember how. Yeah. The teacher was an absolute moron, and he brought up something like he'd get like really stuck in the mud with the conversations. Like he'd start arguing with us, and we knew how to just like drag him down into the mud, so he didn't get to teach us anything. And
I
something
love
came
those
up
teachers.
about something came up. I don't remember where it came from, but he was just like, Jesus, it would never did anything violent. Jesus was all about peace. And I'm like, what about the time he whipped all those guys? He's like, what are you talking about? The time he went to where the tax collectors were in the temple, and he whipped the shit out of those people and turned their tables over. He's like, oh. Well, those were Jews. And I went,
You said that?
I think I just won. I looked around. It was just 3 white guys and 8 black guys. And I was like, shit, none of them are here to complain about this. Damn it.
I mean, they were
those
Jews,
were
but they weren't just Jews. They were Pharisees. And Sadducees, like the bad kind of religious people that were just manipulating the Old Testament into making money.
Are you saying also, like, Jews are the bad kind because they make money?
No,
the Pharisees were the bad kind.
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Jesus was so against them.
I choose to believe you said that.
And also, like he said, Jesus never did anything violent. There's literally in Matthew a verse that says, I bring not peace but a sword.
Well,
this guy didn't know his fucking Bible.
That was a metaphor.
Not the way I do. Even better than Woody's parents.
And if they want to dispute that.
No joke, I think they're in Israel right now.
That is so fucking funny.
they're like, they're getting extra lessons straight from the source right now.
Wait,
I would
Israel?
love. Yeah,
so, like, they go walk around Jerusalem. Does she not know that like people in Israel aren't Christians?
I don't understand.
Most of them aren't.
Why it's so cool, but yeah, that's like their favorite place to vacation now. They go to Israel probably more than once a year. They call me. If they're not in Israel right now, then they just came home.
I wonder, do they have like nice beaches and stuff there? Like they're right on the Mediterranean.
But that's not what they're doing. They're like taking camels and checking out Moses' 40-mile walk or something like that.
Yeah, they do have nice beaches,
awful.
though. I've definitely seen them on the. Let me try to find a picture.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I think
a
they have
pretty
nude
part of the
beaches.
world. Israel does? I figured they'd be
Yeah.
way too conservative for that kind of thing.
I don't know.
I'll just look up Israeli nude beaches. Let's see.
Where can I sunbathe nude in Israel? You go to
I'm
Masada.
pretty sure like even shit like porn isn't legal in Israel.
There you go, nudist beach at the. Oh, I found a YouTuber.
Nudist
She's
beach at Dead
heading
Sea?
to the nude beach on the Dead Sea in Israel,
The Dead Sea's in
Alright.
Israel.
and she's naked.
For some reason, I thought it was in like Eastern Europe or something. Like,
Was this uploaded September 23rd, 2015?
Sure was.
We're on the same video.
You're gonna want to skip on forward to when she gets naked. She blurs everything, but I'm still pleased. She's got some of that Dead Sea mud. She's rubbing it on her face, like war paint.
Oh, she's got a tattoo. Big no-no in Judaism. Well, and
Well,
Christian
anyway.
too, I guess.
Yeah, definitely nude beaches in Israel. Yeah,
Well, the more you know.
the more you know.
The Dead Sea is somewhere that would be.
Let
really
your mom
cool to
know.
go. Yeah.
she might have gone to the nude beaches. You don't know.
Yeah, your parents, I wouldn't put it past them.
Nothing
They'd be
wong
like,
with it,
right?
We're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not
hike the Sinai Desert Trail.
going to
And then
Masada.
we're gonna get
And then we're gonna get our
fucking-
freak on
yeah.
because that's
Yeah,
how
we're
Woody's
gonna get
parents
laid.
go. They just
is Masa-
yeah, fuck me. Oh, this is right where Abraham almost killed Isaac.
is Masada the one where the Israelis held out against the Romans for like a long time, and then they suicided at the end, so the Romans could claim no victory?
I don't know. Is this a Bible story, or is this
Yeah.
like in the middle area, like where the Maccabees were?
Well, I don't know my Bible that well, but I thought that was the story of Masada.
Masada. It would make sense because Mossad's like they're CIA, so it makes sense they name it after something like that.
I don't. Well, that's the Mossad. I don't know if that's. I mean, maybe.
Masada.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say
that's what
Mossad,
happened.
I
yeah.
say Masada.
So,
Let's call the whole thing.
let's see. Yeah, in 66 AD, Masada was a Roman garrison. A group of Jewish extremists overcame it and settled there. In the next several years, more people joined them, and then there was a siege led by Lucius Flavius Silva in 72 AD. It lasted about 2 to 3 months, and it culminated in the construction of a siege ramp and tower to try to get at them. But it seems like 960 Israelis held out for like a really long time, like over a year or something like that. And at the end, they did like a mass suicide so that like the Romans could claim no victory.
That's a really cool story. I can't believe I've never read about this. That's
Yeah, that might be a fun one.
also like what'd you say, Flavius fucking whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Romans had cool names.
Sick fucking names.
I wanted to ask you, Wendigoon, what, to get very serious, not really, but like, what is, because I know you're a Christian, what is the point of like the Christian sects where you're like, I think I have more not in common with you than in common with you? Like, because like most like Christians I've talked to about like Mormons will say like they've got the gist of it, but they are way out of line on a lot of, but you know, they kind of got the core a bit right, other than the whole like other testament thing.
Yeah. I as far as Mormons go, I'm pretty absolutely removed from them. Everyone that I've talked to, I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. It's like, wait, did you just make that part up? Which they're like, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, that's the vibe. But yeah, them definitely far removed from things like Jehovah's Witnesses and all that. Anything that involves new revelations. So like, you know, you had the Bible, you had like, which the New Testament, which is the most recent part of the Bible, is entirely written by people who were alive and either were with Christ or were friends with the disciples who like wrote letters to them or whatever. So that's like Jesus. And then if any religion is like, yeah, and then 800 years later, there was a second part. That's where I'm like, no, I don't play ball with that. Because at that point, they're just adding stuff for their own, you know, whatever objective they want to get across.
Are you besmirching David Smith?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, a little, yes,
Good,
a lot.
because that was the greatest con man this side of the Mississippi.
Yep.
This side,
Yep.
both sides of the Mississippi, because he got booted to the other side.
That-
Fucking shit. Oh
that-
my
but,
God.
but him, I'm not Catholic. Catholics are closer because, they still believe in Christ and all that. Not a fan of, like, the church as an office or, the Pope or the orders of the priest and all that. But if you believe in Christ, then, we've got something to talk about. But there's a lot of people who, they had a lot of asterisks to that term, a lot
With
of
the Catholic
new
thing,
ideas.
like most of my family's Catholic, but like the whole praying, like to like including Mary in your prayers was always to me like, what are we doing here? Like, there's no part in the New Testament that says to include Mary. It seems like this is a bunch of pomp and circumstance that they included, kind of like the Pharisees and Sadducees back in the day, to keep people kind of constricted based on ritual than based on social constraints than by anything else. Like the same way confession. Like, if you've seen the bullshit people say now about like confession, actually, like the reason it's a thing is because like the priest is meant to be like someone who helps you through problems, and it's like, no. That was not the impetus of confession. The impetus of confession was a way to goad an entire community into spilling secrets to a central position that then could use that information to control. Like no, literally in the fucking Bible, Jesus says, what did Jesus say? Did he say that when you pray, go into public loudly and raise your arms? No, Jesus said, when you pray, do not go into public and raise your arms and scream as the Pharisees and Sadducees do. Instead, go into your room in private. Just you and the Lord. Isn't that what Jesus said? I was under the impression that was kind of spelled out in the middle of John, but I guess not, or no, Luke. Like, I really, that always fucking turned me the wrong way about Catholicism, is like, it takes all of what Jesus came back to do, which is fulfilling the covenant and making it so that the separation of fabrics and the not eating of pork, the shellfish, all this stuff was fulfilled. It's not to be followed anymore. And to tack on an additional layer of like, oh, now you have to worry about paying money to get out of to get your relatives out of purgatory. Like, that's a despicable perversion of, if you believe in Christ and you believe that's what he came to do, that doesn't really gel. And I'm not even a religious person, really.
Wow, like, that was cool. Sunday school Taylor popped out there. That was nice. I like that.
I want some consistency there, and I don't like. And the Catholics I know are good people. The vast majority of them are Christmas and Easter Catholics who don't care about it, who don't do. People don't know this. Most Catholics don't do confession. Like they don't go and do that shit.
Of course not.
But like, yeah, the whole impetus of it is like gross. It was a way to get dirt on people who trusted you and then use it for material gain. Fucked up.
Is that true?
I get all my information from the Passion of the Christ.
It is 100% true.
Mel Gibson will set you straight.
Yeah, people who get like upset, like listening to just totally bad information and not able to contribute. Like, some people have to listen to our show and be like, no, that's not how, man, that's not how any of this worked. And then we're all three like, yeah, that checks.
Mary is the blessed mother, how dare you!
They'll be back.
I will
Don't
get
worry.
someone, I guarantee I will get multiple people being like, hey, you misunderstood this, and this about Catholicism. And that's entirely possible. I'm not Catholic. But I think I'm right about a couple of those core things, frankly. And I will debate the Pope about it. Put me in the ring with the Pope. I will dominate the Pope.
I went to Sunday school. I know what to do.
I know he's gonna
He
be
would.
I know what
by
questions he'll ask.
Your conjurations can't save you here, magician. You can't be saved with your machinations from the deep, from the spirit realm. The fact that we've never seen the Pope cast a spell or do anything even vaguely magical really casts.
Wait, does he claim to be magical?
Yeah. He communes directly with God Almighty.
Yeah, I know that.
Does claim that at times.
Actually, not every pope claims that. I think.
Pussies.
I know less than anybody.
If they're not even claiming that anymore, what are we doing here? Like, what are you?
Aren't I right? Not every pope claims.
Was he a hat
No,
rack?
the funniest one was during COVID. Whenever the Pope, they tweeted or put out an announcement that was like, during COVID, you don't have to go to a church for confession. You can just confess your sins directly to God. And everyone was like,
"No, we're going to Zoom call this."
Hundreds of years of war over this.
Yeah. There were centuries of death and destruction over this very issue.
Martin Luther is spinning in his grave right now.
Yeah. We need to find him, and we can solve our power problems. Show him that tweet. Yeah,
I hate the whole idea of the Pope and like his cadre of wizards. Like the whole thing is so absurd. Like the fact that they still dress like that, it's like why haven't we stopped and said anything? Like,
I'm on the other side. If everyone could dress like that in the big flowy gowns, I could quit my diet.
The hat, Woody. Look at the
it's
hat.
like the Saudis.
He has a staff. Draco Malfoy's dad wasn't as over the top as the Pope is.
Baller. The hat? Oh my god, no more height envy. The cloak? Who needs a six pack when you dress like a ghost?
I'm so like I cannot believe how much I'm on your side with this, Woody. Like you're attacking the absolute coolest part of Catholicism, which is the Vatican, the outfits, the pomp and circumstance. Like the whole this color smoke goes out of the pillars, create white smoke or black smoke, and then when it turns white, we've picked a new pope. That kind of stuff is fun. It's Game of Thronesy, man. Like that.
Oh, do you know the thing? Do you know what they do to make sure the Pope is dead?
Fucking poke him. I don't know.
I can't remember exactly which kind of like
up the
shits on my
you loudly say, naked boys? and then when he doesn't, and then when you don't notice a very expensive tent of Egyptian cotton forming, you know that he's finally passed.
I hope it's something really ordinary like a sternum rub.
I did. I'm gonna get comments about this. I didn't say that. It was Taylor. Out of it.
It was me. But he told me to say it for the show.
No.
I communicate directly with God. He told me to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they stab him or something like that. I watched a YouTube video the other day. Maybe they don't do it as much, but they did something silly. They like whacked him on the head with a coconut or something. Oh, that reminds me. I read about this whole thing today. I want to get the terminology right, but I'm not gonna. What it is. It's the religion that props up in some uncontacted tribes where they. I'm going to break it down as well as I can from memory here.
Okay.
So the deal is that within these like uncontacted tribes, they have this sort of pecking order amongst the men who are sort of, the ruling class anyway, where like we give each other gifts. But the thing is, we all kind of come from the same place, the same village. So nobody's ever going to like ruin the gift giving by having like an iPod. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give you my extra coconuts and you're going to give me like all the berries that you found yesterday. And so in that way, I'll never be what they call like a dirty man or something like that, which is someone who is indebted much more in this gift giving tradition they have, where like you should like the head guy there is the guy who's given everybody a gift. Everybody owes him because he's given everybody one more gift than they've given him essentially. So like what they would do, they would meet these like these guys on boats and and they would show up with shit from a factory in England or America, and they'd be like, "Yeah, what do you want? Like 50 of these dolls?" And it just like ruins their like sense of worthiness, and so they start viewing not the white men as their god, who have this overabundance of like factory-produced goods that they can't even fathom. They believe that there's a religion of cargo drops, where like God drops cargo and gives it to people, and through either because either they were bad or because God there was an accident, these men have been gifted more, so we need to pray to the God that will get our cargo shipment from the sky of like earthly goods, so that we can no longer be dirty men who are indebted to those Frenchmen who came the other day and like gave us all a basket of fruit to eat.
The Lord has blessed us with sour cream and onion chips. Did you even imagine there could be a flavor more than original? I had my mind blown by original for weeks, and then they come and man, the Lord is great. The Lord is a wonderful God for giving us. Have you ever heard of Cape Cod chips? These are the finest chips I have ever had. Salt and vinegar. They are a flavor you would not anticipate being as tasteful as it is.
That's
You ever
the
had
original.
Starry soda? It is not good.
That's the
Sierra
original.
Mist.
That's the original potato chip flavor.
Original?
Not salt, but salt and vinegar.
I didn't know that.
So that
I
was
didn't either.
original.
I just kind of made it up.
You got me this time. You don't always
God damn it, dude.
Did he have you, Taylor, or was it just me?
No, he got me on that one.
Oh,
Like, I
good.
was just like,
Because it's preservatives.
Yeah, maybe
Had to keep those potatoes fresh.
it did make
Probably
it does
was the
it did
rocks
make
made-
sense
or
to me.
potatoes they
It
made 'em
still
in.
makes sense. It might be true.
Man, if hell is real, fuck. Like
Dude, you wish.
Dang, that's crazy.
It would almost be better if hell were real, because like maybe eventually like God and the devil like truce it out, and we'll all live in some other place. We'll move to suburbs of hell, but like the alternative, like Marietta.
Yeah.
People get there. But the alternative is just what the reality that we all it goes black. It's all for nothing.
I don't know, there could be something neat.
Not a thing.
We don't know.
For us. Come
Not
on,
for,
we're
like,
so
not
awful.
for
There's nothing
us
good for us.
specifically,
Look,
but for good
here's-
people.
The
Hey,
host
here's how
in
I know.
particular, a little funny.
We're not like just us as beings. Like we're not decent enough to deserve anything after this.
I think we're all pretty decent.
As a species.
No, I meant the four of us. like we're none of us are like shitty people.
I think we're
God's
well.
gonna be like, I'm a big fan of the show, and you're not welcome here.
I think we're well. I think we're well-meaning, but I.
What
don't know.
if I get to heaven and God's like, there are a few problems with the way I was represented. I have been Indian the entire time. I'd be like,
a lot of head bobbing?
Yeah, you are not allowed in the eternal paradise of my convenience store.
You step through the pearly beaded curtain. It's fucking. Yeah.
God, smells in here.
I want to go.
What is that? Is that cabbage?
Yes, there were many problems with the way I was portrayed in the Bible. They said my apostles' names were like Luke and John. It was Jonah and Lucrum. I don't know.
Fuck.
Luca boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, I am very interested in saving your eternal soul. I would like to talk to you. No, do not hang up. Do not.
See, that would be better. Like Hindustani phone seller guy is as a god is preferable to Alan.
Yeah. He'd at least be fun and like you'd like get a laugh.
I love
when you're
that.
sent
I love
to
that
hell.
when kids would ask in church like, so wait a minute. My dog's not going to heaven? Because like parents will tell that lie, just like Santa Claus. They'll mix that in.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
your goldfish will be in heaven. And they're like, nah, they're not going to heaven, but don't worry, neither do you. I just want to say that once. They're like, just so you know, like this is all I shouldn't say these mean things in front of Wendigoon.
Dude, I remember the
He
way
goes. He's probably a deacon or something. He's on the take. He can't be part of it.
No, he's
He's like a capo.
in like the Muslim board meeting, they've got Wendigoon up there where they're like, get rid of this guy. You know?
This is the one that teaches the little ones.
Yeah, I assume that's how religions work. You got the Jews,
it's
the
like
Muslims.
they
They all have a
yeah.
boardroom. They all have a
Yeah.
war room. They're
Yeah,
figuring it
we're
out.
all trying to actively kill each other. Yeah, exactly.
all
That's how
trying
it
to
works.
win. And then
And
the Mormons are like,
no,
we don't
you're-
even have to play. We're gonna have 100 kids apiece. Fuck you.
No, it feels mean because I like you. I just don't.
No, bro.
You know what they say? Hate the sinner, not the sin, or is it the other way around? I
Hate the
never-
sinner.
Nah, Kyle, you're
Look,
good.
I've been a terrible Christian for years based on misunderstanding. Hey, fuck you! And then you suck a dick.
Nah, you're good, bro. I'm not offended at all. I've heard way worse. You're good. There are multiple people in my comments who want me dead over it, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm
It's fine.
sure.
This is
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
A bunch of douchebags.
Yeah, well, it be how it be. Like I said, we have the war room. We're plotting it out too, so it's fine. Yeah, the church has surface-to-air missiles. We're taken care of.
You know what religion's going to do really well is the next one to release like a DLC. Like more.
That's what Mormons did. That's literally what the Mormons did.
And how are the Mormons doing? Mormons are what?
That's
fastest
fair.
growing religious sect on earth for a long time running. Granted, there's a little finagling there with percentages because there's so many Christian Catholics are not going to
fucking
explode in a year.
Dude, Catholicism was ruined by RMT.
Dude, I fucking hate skill-based matchmaking. They're putting me up with these really difficult to trick priests in confession.
Dude, the moving around of the Catholic priest is like the nail in the coffin, if you ask me, for the whole hierarchy of that religion, because you can't explain it away. You can't say, oh, yeah, turned out there were a lot of priests that we didn't know. Who's to say? Nobody's looking over a priest's shoulder. We trusted them too. But it's like, no, dude. For like the last 50 or 80 of years of recorded history that we have, where we actually started writing shit down for real, like, y'all been doing it constantly, hiding it, and like relocating them. I love the Bill Burr joke, like where he's like you treat him like one of those killer whales. Just moving him to another theme park like he didn't just kill 3 trainers. It's absurd. Like
true.
I'll say this: if I was running, like forget a religion, if I had a fucking like fan club, theme park, whatever the fuck, where we're all like supposed to be doing things the Kyle way or something, and I found out that like one of the little Kyles was over here like doing, oh my god, we gotta get him. We gotta make it public. Maybe we need to go back to some of that old school stuff we always talk about. I'm the Pope, right? Let's get him up here to the Vatican. Don't I make the rules?
Code of Hammurabi stuff.
Yeah.
Intense
Seems like eye for an eye.
Does the Pope have the power?
We have to molest him now.
I bet the Pope.
Right.
I bet the Pope has the legal ability to like extradite somebody from another country and execute them in the Vatican City. I bet, like he could do that, right?
I mean, I bet he could.
What did Taylor say? Rectory?
He said corrective.
Yeah, the rectory.
It's a corrective. As if they're gonna like punish him with what he did, which seems, very eye for an eye.
The rectory or the rectory?
Yeah. That's what I was getting.
Both.
I like that. Yeah, the rectumry. Yeah.
Woody thought he heard it.
They had.
I know a bunch
there.
of like Catholic people who are like, yeah, my church has, they've decided that they don't like what the Vatican's doing and they're separating themselves forward and doing their own thing. It's like this is Protestant with extra steps. You're just going the long way
This is
around,
Protestantism with incense.
Okay, then you're not a Catholic anymore.
Yeah. It's like
just so you know, you're not a Catholic anymore.
We've been on that. We have been.
I'm going to report you, and I'm telling the Pope.
I mean, honestly, like canonically, Catholicism has moved a bit in that direction. Like, not a bit, enormously in that direction over the past couple centuries. Like, I think in most Catholic churches, it's accepted now. Like, you can just confess to God.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah,
That's allowed. Do you know how many people were like
each other over it? Yeah.
Do you know how many people were like burned alive?
Yeah, literally
saying like, "You can confess to God directly," and they're like, burn him on the stake." Do you guys know anything about Isaac, Jacob, and Esau? Isaac and his sons, Jacob and Esau.
No, they sound like Bible names.
They are absolutely Bible names. They were Jews. And or maybe this was before the whole. No, they were definitely
Hebrews.
Hebrews, yes. So basically, this is Old Testament, and so if you hear anything in this where you're like, that doesn't sound like Jesus, be like, settle down, like it hasn't changed yet. It'll come around to that. So basically, this is when old school rules apply. Isaac, he was old, he was dying. It was in Jesus, way before Jesus' days, and so this is when it was like, oh, you had your kid, and you were 72 when you had him, because people lived to be super old then. And of course they did. And in the Bible, they lived to be hundreds of years old.
I had no idea.
Yeah, people like lived very, very long back then. And so like it was like, oh, Isaac beget whoever when he was 82. They're like, whatever it is. And Isaac he knew he was going to die soon, and so he's laying in his dying bed, and he goes, to his son Esau, the older one, who was known for being big and hairy and the huntsman. And he goes, Esau, I don't know when I'm going to die. I need you to go out. I need you to hunt for some game. And then make me a delicious meal, bring it to me, I'll eat it, and then I'll give you a blessing. I'll bless you this day forward, And so Esau is like, all right, absolutely, I have to go do this, because this isn't like a blessing of like, Hail Mary full of grace. This is a real deal blessing. Like it's an actual, think of it like a anointing. Yeah, this was not a I give you good luck. It was like a spell of power, basically. Think of it
Because
like
let me ask you, who's the character who's in the bed dying? His name is
Isaac.
Isaac is like tight with God, right? So a blessing from Isaac is de facto a blessing from God in some ways.
Yeah, you need to establish to get the intensity of the story that this is a blessing of like I bless you to be guaranteed to go on and do great shit and be successful.
That's
not
way better than sneeze.
Yes, it's not a bless you child. You know, now I die. and so as he tells Esau this, Esau's in there and he goes, okay, I promise you, Father, I'm going to go get that game, make you a meal, bring it back. Rachel, who was one of Isaac's wives, or Rebecca, sorry, who was one of Isaac's wives, was outside of this room and she heard that. And so she goes to her son, Jacob, and she goes, Jacob, he's about to give away this blessing and Esau's out there hunting. We got to go right now. We got to get this blessing right now. You go, you get 2 animals from our stock, bring them in here. I'll kill them. I'll make the meal real quick. And then you go deliver it to him. And Jacob goes, that's all well and good. I'd love to usurp that blessing. But problem is, I am a smooth man and Esau is hairy. Even though Isaac is going blind, he's still gonna recognize me. This speaks volumes to the intellectual capacity of people back in this day.
No, hang on. Let me jump in because I got a theory as
Sure,
to
go
how
ahead.
this could be true. I think that he's blind, right? I think that the father is
Isaac
blind
is
at
so
this point.
old that he's going he's having to squint. He can barely see anything.
He can't see them, so he knows his sons by touch. You take just like remember Ray Charles. He had to get rid of the fatties, right? So when he met a woman, he'd take her hand and he'd wrap his hand around her wrist, not her hand, and he could tell by putting his hand around her wrist if this lady was fat or not. So
Yeah.
I think we got a similar thing here. He's
So
feeling
it's-
for that hairy arm, and he knows who he's got.
Kind of like that, where Jacob goes, I'm a smooth man. My brother's hairy. He's gonna know. Rebecca's like, no excuses. We're making sure you get this blessing because you're my only kid, and so we're not letting this hairy fucker Esau get it. And so he goes, fine. He goes and he gets the animals, brings them back, slaughter them. She's cooking them up, and he goes, when I go in there, he's still gonna know it's me. Like it's my voice. I'm not hairy. And so she goes, I'm gonna go get 2 goat skins and drape it over your neck and then over your hands. Over your hands.
Yucky.
As if feeling goat skin on someone's hands, whatever. And so he puts the goat skin on. He goes into Isaac's hut, and he goes, Father, I'm here. And he Esau, is that you, my son? You sound of Jacob. He's like, oh, no, it's definitely me. Definitely me, Esau, the guy you told to get food. Oh, well, I did tell you that, and and Jacob wasn't around. I trust you. Come closer. And he touches his hands with his old man fingers, and he goes, my donkey-handed son is here. my hairy
Worf,
son.
you've come back to me.
Yes. So, you're here. Well, all right, give me my food. And so he sits down, he starts feeding Isaac the food, helping him eat, gets Isaac some wine, lets him drink it, and after he finishes it, Isaac goes, Are you really Esau? Because even this blind man was not convinced by this masterful ruse. And he goes, yeah, I'm definitely Esau. And so he goes, you sound just like Jacob, though. Like, you sound just like him. Like, I'm blind, not deaf. And he goes, okay, give me one more stroke of the hands. He gets one more hand stroke, and he goes, all right, I'm good. I believe it's Esau now. So he gets one more hands of Esau touch, and Isaac goes, all right, prepare for your blessing. And he says, I want to find the actual blessing here so you can hear what it was. Yeah. So he said, come near me and kiss me, my son. And so he kissed him, his son. He smelled Esau's furs and the huntsman upon him, so he was comfortable giving the blessing. And this is the blessing. He said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you the dew of heaven and of the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you.
Wow.
You cover
powerful blessing.
You cover a lot of bases with that.
Wow.
A lot
Those
of bases.
who don't like you, they're fucked. Those who are tight with you, they get risen up too. Everything you want is yours. You even smell good, bro. You smell nice.
It facilitates an awesome, dope life for him. And so, as Jacob is leaving, like 30 yards away, Esau's coming in with the stuff that he just hunted and cooked and made. Like, he fucking slaughtered stuff out there, made a pot, made a fire, made all this shit. And Jacob is like taking those furs off real quick, throwing them behind the hut, and then running back into the house behind his mom. And Esau walks up and he goes into Isaac's tent. Esau goes, "Father, arise, eat of this meal I've prepared for you so that you may bless me." And Isaac, with that look on his blind, I've been hoodwinked face, goes, "But who was it that brought me food just a moment ago? I've already given your blessing. Who was that?" And of course Esau's like, "Are you shitting me? Like, are you shitting me? Like, someone already came and get this? Like, there's only so many of us in the world right now. It had to be Jacob. Was it a woman? Was it a woman? No, then it was Jacob. It was fucking Jacob. There's not a lot of us here." So I narrowed it down. So so he says to his father Isaac, he says, "You know what? Okay, I understand. Like, he's violent, like shaking. He's so mad, but he goes, Father, you must have another blessing. You must have another backup blessing.
Does he have shortage of blessings? He just says them.
That's the thing. He says, Father, please bless me. Please give me a blessing. I need something. I've done this for you. And Isaac, like a fucking Radio Shack, no returns, no matter what employee, is sitting there going, "I'm sorry. I can't. There is no more blessing for you. There's none. I can't give it." And Esau's like, "This is ridiculous. Like, you can just give me a blessing." And Isaac, apparently being clued into God's like, "No, the words have been said. The spell has been cast. Your brother is blessed, and you are not."
You want me to go to God and tell him I didn't recognize my own son that I was trying to bless? You think he's going to give me some more blessing mojo if I tell him I gave the wrong fucking son of mine the blessing?
Yeah.
Never again will he give me mojo.
He'll never give me another blessing privilege when he finds out that I gave it to literally the only other person that I could have accidentally given it to. 100% failure. And so basically, Isaac eventually says to his son Esau, says, I'm so sorry, I can't bless you. And he tells him this. He says, "What then can I do for you, my son? He's asking, have you but one blessing, my father?" And Isaac says, "Behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck." And so he didn't only not get a blessing, he got like a spelled out prescription for how much his relative or his ancestors are going to have to serve Jacob, the shitty brother who stole his inheritance from him, that blessing, which is basically the inheritance that you get from a god man.
Hey, that's not where the Arabs came from, is it? Or is that a different Bible story?
This is in later chapter. Yes. I think that might be Cain and Abel you're thinking.
I thought that was the black people.
Esau and maybe. But yeah, there'll be more to this story as I continue with Isaac and Jacob in later chapters. But man, like I had to reread it to like get the full story again today because I haven't thought about it in a long time.
Yeah, I remember that.
I would
now,
be
the goat skin.
livid if I was Esau and I found out that I didn't even someone stole my blessing, and then also I don't even get like a thanks for coming blessing. Like,
so
you're
the way
gonna
my
get
preacher. The way my preacher explained that is he said he was blind, of course, and that those goat skins, like, it's not just about feeling the hair, but he had the scent, that like the huntsman's scent from those goat skins he was wearing. And he smelled like the right son in the hoodwinking portion of the story. And of course, they weren't like goat skins with like goo on the other side, so there's no confusion. It was more like a fur blanket.
Yeah, but man, like insult to injury.
Not that any of this ever happened, of course.
No, but yeah, if you pretend it does, then it makes it more fun.
This is no different than us discussing that episode of House of Cards, right? Like, and then he fucking pushed her in front of the subway train, and he became the president.
Dude, but this is so much.
Spoiler alert, season 2.
This is so much cooler than House of Cards because the stories are old as shit.
True? Oh.
Like, it's so old that it's like, I don't know, you can see morality like almost forming, and like the way like back then. It clearly was not the God yet of the New Testament, which is like the omnipotent, omniscient, good God who's trying to like help out and shit. Like, this is still when it's like just getting started. This is Genesis 27, I think. I wrote it down. Yeah, Genesis 27 is this story. So it's real early on, and they're still in that mode of like our tribal deity, So even God, like when he finds out like, oh, hey, sorry, God, I accidentally gave the wrong blessing. Can you give me another one? Even God is like a fickle tribal God of like, no, you fucked it up. Sorry.
Yeah. He's a smaller god. He's definitely a smaller god. He's not Lord of the Universe and Commander of the Stars. He's more like that guy we're really tight with who does a little magic.
Yeah, it does a little magic.
Let me tell you about 30 seconds of regret there, son.
Yeah.
Men for ages will experience that.
Man, these Bible stories, it's the only way to live a good life.
I still want to hear like some more about Jonah and the whale, because I don't think I actually ever heard or have read the Bible verses like the.
Do you want me to tell you Jonah?
No, because I know the basic story. But I want to. Are you prepared to tell the story of Jonah?
I know enough about Jonah to say it. Maybe you can fill stuff in. So basically, Jonah was one of those prophets, right? Where prophets had a ton of power back then. They were just God's messengers. And so God went to Jonah and said, hey, I need you to go to Nineveh and tell them that literally everything they're doing in their lives every day is evil. And if they don't stop, I'm going to destroy this entire city and kill all of them. And Jonah goes, honestly, there's not a good track record of people who show up in Nineveh telling them not to do this shit. Like almost like literally, yeah, all of them die. They all get crucified or murdered or something horrible or drawn and quartered. Like, I'm not going to go be that guy in Nineveh. Screw that. And so obviously Jonah is like, I'm running away. I'm running away from God and from home. And so he goes down to the docks, pays a fee to get on there, doesn't fully explain who he is. They know he's a prophet, but they're not of the Jewish religion, and so they don't really care. You know, they're doing their own thing. They say, all right, come on board. He hops on board. They start sailing across just away from Nineveh. He doesn't know where he's going. He's just trying to get away from Nineveh. They get out there in the middle of the waters, and the most heinous storm breaks out, that to the point that even though Jonah is down below, everybody up top is throwing a fit. They're freaking out. They're all like weathered sailors trying to survive, and Jonah's down there sleeping. And so someone comes down there and goes, Jonah, you're sleeping. Like, this isn't, a fucking Ramada 2,000 years from now. You got to get up here and help out. Like, this is getting out of control. Come on. And so he goes up there, and the whole time it's like Jonah is the guy who clogged the toilet, that nobody knows it was him, and he is trying to help clean up the mess, to where he's like, he knows it's him, and he's like, yeah, it is totally gross. Like, who did this? And like trying to clean it up. And he's trying to help. And eventually, they're like, they get clued in a little bit more, because they realize, Jonah, you were running away from responsibility with your God? Like, you had to do something for your God, and you said no, and you ran away, and now you're on this boat with us in the ocean. You did that. And Jonah's like, I know, like, hindsight's 20/20. And so Jonah is like, I'm so sorry about this, guys. Like, I'm still a man of my God, and so, we'll work on something else. Let's throw everything overboard first. And so they start throwing everything overboard that they don't need to survive for like one more day to get to shore. It's still not enough to keep them afloat. And so they start casting lots, which is just rolling dice, to see who is going to be the person that they throw overboard, because they have run out of weight and they have to get this. It's either one of us dies for sure, or we all end up dying. And so they cast lots, and as they're doing it, Jonah's like, stop, I'm jumping off the boat. This is my fault. As soon as I jump off, you guys should be okay. God wants me, not you. And they're like doing that thing of like, oh man, are you sure? Like, hey, like, please don't. Hey, you come back here, Jonah. Don't you make us twist your arm? As he's like jumping over into the water. And so he jumps over into the water. Instantly, storm subsides, stops. What happens beneath the waters that you don't know? All the people that were on the boat are just, they continue about their merry way, having been basically transitively proselytized to that the Jewish God is the true God. And so
it's scary.
And very, very frightening, which is important in tribal gods. They go on out. Jonah's in the water. God sends a giant fish, not a whale, because they didn't know that whales were not giant fish. They send a giant fish, swallows up Jonah. That's the part that everybody's familiar with. For 3 days and 3 nights, he lived in the fish's stomach. Basically, if you look at ancient drawings of this, you see what they imagined these beasts' stomachs to look like. Almost like Woody's East Sunroom is what one of these things look like. Like, just a very nice, spacious, not too many organs, mucking up the works, crowding it. It's just very, very nice. And so he stayed there 3 days and 3 nights until eventually the fish vomits him back up, pretty much right where he left off, as a way for God to be like, oh, look who's back. And so throws him up, God tells him again. He goes, "Hey, Jonah. So we're not going to get into stuff. We both know what you did. You tried to run away. Like, I figured you knew I was God and I would find you. Like, this is a lesson that you should have known. You are a prophet. Seriously, though, I need you to get to Nineveh and tell them that everything that you're doing is going to cause them imminent death. I will destroy them if they don't stop having sex and sacrificing animals to Baal or whatever, other gods that they were, golden calves and the like." And this time Jonah's like, I have no option. I gotta go. I gotta go to Nineveh. So he goes to Nineveh. As he gets there, this is almost like a bit of a Shyamalan twist to the story. He goes in, gets up on his pedestal, shaking, so nervous because he knows what happened to every other person who goes into Nineveh, and says, it'd be like going on Bourbon Street and trying and like stealing beers out of people's hands. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, someone's going to bottle you or something. And so he gets up there, started spreading the word, saying, "Guys, if you don't stop, God's going to kill all of you forever, and your city will be gone." Miraculously, all of them look around and almost have a communal, like, "Well, we had a good run, didn't we, Nineveh? Like, we really got raucous, quite a bit of debauchery, sex, animals, the whole nine, but let's call it quits." This is the same guy who got swallowed by a whale, according to that other fisherman who, we all trust Jeff, right? So, so then they all actually listen. The whole city of Nineveh takes it to heart and says, "We are going to follow God. We're going to get rid of this sin." And so at the end of it, Jonah comes out looking like a real retard because the whole time God knew that Nineveh was going to come around. And it was almost like it was a test for Jonah's faith,
But it does seem like they only came around because Jonah defied God and experienced the whole whale thing and let some Geneva or wherever the fuck people see that God was real, right?
But you can't look that far into it.
God cheated his own system. Like he's up there like, "No, I'm not going to fucking make any magic for you to see so you'll worship me." Well, I might this time, though.
Just maybe this time. He's ridiculous like that God. He's always pulling
Because if he really wanted us to sign on board, right, all he's got to do is show up. Like, I don't even need, like, a seminar. Like this doesn't have to be like a Tony Robbins thing where it goes on for hours and I'm in the audience like, "Yeah, he's really winning me over." Like, I need a paragraph from this guy.
Yeah.
Just make an appearance, float down.
How are you pulling all this out though? Like where? Like, did you into Bible study, or did you go to like what? How did you just pull that out?
These are things
so
Taylor knows.
I went to a private school, like a religious school, for a lot when I was younger, and so I know all the boilerplate tales and such because I've been told them so many times. Yep. And as I was like in mid-teens, late teens, I got more into like looking into it, trying to figure it out. And so I just like read through the Bible, and you pick a lot of it up when you read it. And then if you actually get an interest in it, it's like, this is, these are pretty interesting stories.
Like, I don't know any of it really, or remember any of it, I guess you could say. So
that
you could be making
you for second most knowledgeable in the podcast.
We had coloring books for this stuff. Like, you really hammer home these points and the reason.
You could be making shit up for all I know, but you said it was such conviction and like just your like pacing on it and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that did happen. Yeah. Maybe it did. Man, fuck, man. I was gonna go lobstering in August, but fuck it. Now I ain't going near the ocean.
He slipped shit in there, and he's like, hindsight's 20/20, and I'm like, they said that. Well, I guess he's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of modern phrases in the Bible. You guys, I mean, you don't know about.
What do you think?
Tell me about Jesus.
Tell me. Well, Jesus, you could go on forever because lots of tales about that guy. And but yeah, these obscure, more Old Testament tales, you can tell most of them, and if you get like 20% of it wrong, most people have no fucking idea. Like maybe one person will be like, actually, it was a different. That was Elisha, not Elijah, in that story, or something like that. But anyway, that's enough.
Elisha become Elijah?
No, Elisha is Elijah's protege.
Bruce became.
Okay, who was the guy whose name changed when God came into his life? Like he just became another guy.
Saul became Paul.
Okay, thank you.
That's a New Testament thing. Yeah,
I knew the names sounded alike. It was like they didn't change it much,
Yeah. Saul used to persecute Christians, and then God came to him, changed him into Paul. Then he became one of the great proselytizers, of the era. But at the end, not the end. There's a lot more pages.
There's books and books.
Yeah, God's pretty shitty in that book. Like he's always playing favorites. Like modern Christianity is all about how God loves all of us so much. Like they hammer that home endlessly. God loves you so much, you, and no matter what you do, he'll still love you that much. That's why he gave his only son, just so you wouldn't have to sacrifice a goat to ensure that you get to go to his everlasting kingdom of heaven. That's what it was all about, because you and your evil sin that's part of you. And it's like, yeah, but there's plenty of times in there that he was a real dick, right? Like a petulant child, a guy who like played favorites to the point where like if you saw that happen in politics, you'd be like, this is fucking horseshit. Like who was the warrior king who you told the story before. There's the warrior king, maybe David. Is it David who sends the soldier off to war so he can get with the guy's wife? Yeah. And God's like, all's fair in love and war, I guess, saith the Lord.
God like shows.
So this is a regular thing you guys do?
Occasionally,
once a month.
Every once in a while. I'm gonna start doing it more because I think they're fun.
Yeah, Bible stories are good.
That like there was no like hesitation, no like lull in that story. I was like, oh wow.
Well, he's got notes.
Should I see something?
Not for Jonah. I know you
knew
Isaac
Jonah
notes.
But
God fucked up on accident a lot in the Bible. No, you can see like one of his first fuck ups with the Tower of Babel, where everybody on earth was speaking the same language and was working together to build the tower to heaven, and God saw it, and it was almost like he built a custom Civ game, and he's like, damn it, I forgot to set the settings right, and now everybody's getting along. All right, break up the languages, go in different areas. Okay, all right, we're good. And so there's just a part of the Bible where it clearly he fucked up, and they were all speaking French or whatever, and so he had to like invent a bunch of shit and break everybody up, get them fighting. Otherwise,
God
it's just a peaceful story.
The whole way through, God makes mistakes and errors, and he plays favorites, and he's jealous, and he's angry, and he's wrathful, and he's petty. Petty to no end when you consider that he's supposed to be a god. Like, he's petty for us. He is petty for a human being. Those are the upsetting parts.
He's a jealous god. Yeah.
He is a jealous, and you hear that, and I'm saying this for you other two's sake. Like, these are things you hear in church. He is a jealous God. He is a wrathful God. Like, you need to know.
Aren't a couple of them just about loving?
Thou shalt not worship false idols.
Yeah, no other gods, no idols.
Shall come before me.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah.
It's like honor the Sabbath. No murder, no stealing.
See, now those
don't adulterate my wife.
It seems like 2 or 3 of those things are just about loving me more. If they are commandments, like 30% of them are devoted to just fucking.
So much of the Bible is there are huge
in that list.
There are huge moments in the Bible where like everything stops because God doesn't feel loved enough. Like Moses comes down with the 10 Commandments, right? And they're down there worshiping the calf, and he smashes them. There's tons of like just people getting angry and like going like what did God? I always wondered like. How did God feel about that, right? Like when Moses smashes the 10 Commandments.
He made new ones.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he made them new. But it betrays the time, because it's like back in the day, you didn't want your tribal God to be the all-loving, all-caring, once everybody is part of your group. Like, no, you want your God to be the insular, containing, we are powerful, we are mighty, fear us kind of God. Because guaranteed those Ammonites over there, their God doesn't want anything to do with you. Their God is a ferocious war God who wants them to succeed and drink your blood or whatever. So, like, to be tribal like that, you need a God that's fierce. And
see, there you go again.
You got stories about the walls of Jericho and, like, what we did to what the Hebrews did to the Hittites. And all of those, when God decided that you were no good, and then he got behind his people. Like there's just story after story of like cities being smoked, and God will like enumerate like what he wants done. He won't just be like, they're against us, they must die. He'll be like, and their children, and their goats. Yeah. And if you see a baby goat that was born on that morn, and he was born to evil, so you slaughter the baby goat as you would the adult goat. And he's like all this backwards talking that's like a metaphor for kill everything and everyone and salt the fields. Like he's not a friendly kumbaya kind of God. He's like you said, he's a war god, and more often than not, he's all about destroying our enemies or protecting us.
Yeah, which is what they needed. When you get into like the what was it, Eastern Roman Empire with Constantine, and he politicized Christianity as the official religion of the empire.
I wonder about
that was
Constantine.
post Jesus.
Because
And it was
Constantine-
more like everybody come into our fold and be a part of our team because I have this vast empire, and so obviously it's better if we can try and get everybody on the same page with some of this shit, you know?
From the stories, it almost seems like Constantine was like maybe in like a fever dream was converted for reals, though, right? Because he saw the cross in the air, right?
Yeah, before he rode into battle.
And then he rode into battle the next day with the crosses on his shields, I think, and they fucking won when they weren't supposed to win. And he was like, "Oh, Rome is Christian now."
Yeah.
Then you get then the popery leads from there.
Yep. Papacy.
Not the kind that smells good.
Popery.
That's funny.
The kind that fondles children, not the kind that smells nice in your grandma's house.
I feel like the popes are actually fondling children. They delegate.
I bet the old ones were. Oh, those old popes were like fucking vicious warlords. Like there are some scary popes back in the day. There were popes torturing people and fucking bitches. Like there's been all kinds of hardcore popes. Some of the popes were like through history were like if there's a list of the top 100 people, most powerful human beings of all time for their era, considering all those things. Like, you know, if there's a point in history where there's 20 million people in existence and this guy ruled over 6 million of them, then he's a lot more powerful than Donald Trump is today, probably, right? Like he had complete sway over 1/3 of the population of human beings.
Yeah.
He's more powerful by a factor. Yeah, and some of those popes fall into that category. Like guys they're like, yeah, he's the Pope. He talks to God. That's where he just came from. He was talking to God. He's going to relay that to us, and we either do it or we burn in hell for all eternity. It's pretty simple around here. You know, if you're living like that, then kings and queens bow down to the Pope.
In the church, like I wish I could know what their real, true, honest feelings are, right? Because you mentioned, right? Like, hey, God comes down here and does little magic tricks. I'm on board, right? Just come in, give me something, and I'll believe in God as much as I believe in, you know, all my other neighbors and stuff, right? Like, because they're real. So let's say that you're like a cardinal or something, right? You're 76 years old. You've still never seen any evidence of God. Unless you stretch it so much to believe that, like, you know, like, I broke my window and then I found money between the couch cushions and that was an act of God because it paid for the damage. Like, if you really stretch it, you know, to think that any good act or any good thing that happened was
Or that if you prayed and then that outcome came out positively, then that was God. But of course, if you prayed and the outcome doesn't come out positive, then it was part of His plan, and you just need to pray harder.
So you know, you're a cardinal. What's really going on in your head? You've never seen any evidence of God.
Well, it's the same way that like people who've already confirmed that preconceived notion in their heads of like they're not seeing any evidence that some Muslim or Hindu or something hasn't seen, you know, but they see God in different things. So they're like, when something happens, like, oh my God, I thought for sure that this project for work was going to go badly, but I kept doing it and it ended up going well. Praise God. Like I got, like, people impose credit for God and stuff like that. And so to them, even though as an outsider looking in, you're like, that's not evidence. That's unfalsifiable. Like, that's just life. But to them, you can't convince them otherwise. Like, they don't just think in their heads. They know that it was Jesus or Allah or the hippo god or whoever.
There's a fucking billboard I drive past every day. It says, "The fool has said in his heart there is no God." And I'm just like, God damn it, I hate that. Like, every day I drive past it because it like disallows you from disagreeing with it, right? It's just like, well,
I don't want to be a fool.
I don't want to be a fool.
According to this billboard.
According to the billboards. And the billboards know everything. They told me about that big and tasty burger at McDonald's.
Dude, we get that here. Like, we're all drive down Highway 70 between St. Louis and Kansas City, and you just see like the two giant billboards that are like 200 yards apart, where one will be like, what will you say at the pearly gates, with like a picture of the pearly gates, and he's like, when asked, did you defend unborn children? On the next one,
Go
it's
to
like, oh
Florida.
Man, I didn't see that coming.
Dude, go to Florida if you want a real abortion reality check, right? Because you'll get to see more fetuses than a fucking nurse has seen in her entire medical career. There are dead fetuses all up and down the fucking highway down to Florida. I drive down there a good bit. I'm constantly seeing. I make that same drive. I can't remember the name of the highway, but you see.
Oh, the billboards?
Anti-abortion
the
billboards with dead
I'm like,
fetuses on
no
them.
way are there actually dead fetuses on like.
Yeah, the way you
They
see
hang them
armadillos.
up, Woody, by the umbilical cord.
I'm like, Kyle, that's just.
They tie two
roadkill.
umbilical
That
cords
happens
together and
everywhere.
throw them over the power lines like a pair of sneakers.
Make me like Mike.
Yeah.
Witness
I
the
saw this
product
guy.
of your sins.
He was speaking, right? He had a quarter in his hand. He's talking to like 500 people. And he's like, all of you pray. Pray that when I turn my hand over, the quarter won't fall to the ground. He's like, how many of you think God will answer that prayer? Right? And like, none of them. He's like, what if there were 100,000 people or 200,000 people? What if I was on television broadcasting to 8 million people? 8 million people simultaneously prayed that when I turned my hand over, the quarter wouldn't fall down. Do you think God would answer any of their prayers?
I know the Christian answer to that. What they would say. They would say, do not put the Lord thy God to the test.
Yeah.
That putting him to a test like that is trivializing his power. He's not some parlor trick for you to say, to do stuff with coins. Basically, it's a very easy, you can't prove me wrong out.
And you have to keep in mind, like a reoccurring factor in the Christian religion when these sort of like defenses come up is like the whole point is faith. Like if you don't understand faith, then I'll direct you to the dictionary, sir. There's two Bibles that I read, the dictionary and the Bible. Those are my two books. And apparently you can't define the word faith.
I would love those rules to apply to me. One, never test me. Just assume that I'm godly. And two, never ask me to. I guess that's the same thing, you know.
Hey,
like
you create a universe, and we won't doubt you a bit.
Well, how do you know I haven't?
I haven't seen it or read any literature about it.
Have some faith.
Hey,
you haven't
print
been
out a
given
book-
the gift of faith, Kyle.
Keep this cap in my hand.
You print out a book about this fucking
thought you were
thick,
gonna
full
do
of
it.
tales,
Like, yeah.
then I might believe in your religion. Although there is plenty of studies that suggest that praying for people who are prayed for, statistically do better. They
I
do.
think that has more to do with a social structure that cares enough to pray.
I didn't say it had anything to do with God, but people who are prayed for do better than people who are not prayed for. Medically
According to
speaking,
the Christian
in a
Science
calm
Monitor.
No, according to actual studies. Like, it's a real thing. Like, I'm just making it up.
Yeah, the Christian Science Monitor. We should all get like tracks, those like chick tracks from like crazy. You guys know what those are?
No.
Yeah.
So basically, what those are I'll look one up. So a chick track is just one of these.
I've never heard of a chick track at all. I'm picturing a CD track, like a song.
It's like a small booklet, and it basically just goes through like, what do you do if your friend wants to look at pornography with you, and how do you handle it? What do you do if your friend wants to smoke a cigarette or a doobie, God forbid? Ooh, what do we do? And then it's like these silly little like Christian total straw man pamphlets where, you know, the person who wants to look at porn is like just the apotheosis of evil and gremlin style person.
I'm glad we never do that 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it is episode 666. I want to talk about some spooky things. So, as far as demons know, your demon knowledge, Wendigoon.
Yes.
You've looked into it a ton. What's like an indicator to you when you're reading a demon story that you're like, this is made up, this is fake, and what are the ones that get you like, oh, I kind of buy this. I think this could be a real one.
So the thing that's like, as someone who like, you know, believes in it, like I'm a Christian, I'm not like some levels of religious Christians will get to where it's like recently I covered a video game called Faith that revolves demons, and talking to the creator, he's like, yeah, I get emails all the time from people who think if you put like a pentagram in a game, you're going to hell. Like obviously that's not the level I'm at.
Yeah.
You've seen the content I cover. But as far as like reading stories about demonology or whatever, it's typically the theatrics of it. For that same reason, I believe possessions can happen, but I believe that like 99% of them are fake. Because a demon's MO, or like within Christianity, right? Like the devil's MO isn't to scare people or be weird and strange. Like he's not just creeping around like, hoo-ha, they're going to be so afraid of this one. That's what most like demon stories revolve around. It's just to divert people. It's just to point them away from God or Christianity or what have you. most examples of demonic influence throughout like the Bible or old like religious traditions aren't even people who are like frothing at the mouth, possessed, yelling obscenities. That's not even what they do. Most of what they do is just being like leaders, people who will take the poor and the hungry and push them back to some righteous way until eventually bringing them into cult activities or what have you. I would say that in my belief, there's a lot more possessed people in places of power or what have you than there are like satanic cult members. Like the Church of Satan and the Satanic Bible, and that's just poser stuff. That's all a joke. But the real stuff, so to speak, is just manipulation.
$8 wasted.
Yeah.
Lifetime membership fee for Kyle. Taking
There's
like Rube.
I pay dues, God damn it! This is horse shit.
The one thing that like I've researched lately, there's kind of a white whale for me in demonology of like something that I think would make a really cool video that I think I could dissect, but I'm a little afraid to. Is this thing called the Lesser Key of Solomon? Are you familiar with it? Is anyone familiar with it?
Mm-hmm.
So
I have heard of this. Yes.
So the Lesser Key of Solomon is a book that was its final version, like the version that exists now, was assembled around like 1720, like just pre-America or pre-government America. But the writings of it supposedly trace all the way back to like 800, 900 BC. So in the original like Judaism lore and by extension Christianity, but primarily Judaism, when Solomon, the son of King David, built the temple in Jerusalem, he used all of his wisdom and power to do it. It's believed in most Abrahamic religions that Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived because he asked the Lord for wisdom, the Lord gave him wisdom, blah, blah, blah. So Solomon, being the wisest man who ever lived, was able to use a lot of powers of spirituality to build the temple. And again, in Judaism, it's believed, maybe not in their canon, but at least in, Judaism-adjacent beliefs, that he effectively enslaved several demons to commission the building of the temple. That's how the temple was built in record time. There's all this weird stuff with the temple, like the geometry of it is so perfectly done, like the way the walls are cut. It doesn't make sense for something done, in BC time period. It's like an architectural marvel for the time that it was built. So one of the beliefs is that he used demons to do that. The Lesser Key of Solomon was supposedly assembled by his workers, or the human workers at least, in the construction of the temple. The Masons, as they were called, which is where the Freemasons eventually get their name. They use a lot of the symbols and stuff from Solomon's builders. And there's whole connections between demonology and Freemasonry. That's another can of worms. But with the construction of Solomon's temple, it's believed that perhaps he enslaved demons, so a book called The Lesser Key of Solomon is the traditional beliefs of supposedly how Solomon managed to enslave these demons. So it is a book that is made up of 72 different demons that describes their name, their MO, what they do, what they look like, how they appear, as well as summoning rituals. So like the things you're supposed to draw, the things you have to do to bring them in. And going back to what I mentioned earlier of like the thing that tips me off demon stories are fake is the theatrics of it. The way that like you summon most of the demons in this book is like forget to pray for a day. Or yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is so much more menacing than just like cut yourself and draw blood or whatever.
I need a bunch of chickens and
exactly. It'll be like forget to pray for a day, or don't spend any money today. Instead, leave it near your bed, or like put the money under your bed, or stuff like that. Like these subtle things that you don't think about at once, but it slowly lulls you into this idea of either self-reliance or trusting a demon in some sense. Stop looking to God for all your answers. Just you can take care of yourself. You should be looking to yourself for answers. And then by the end of it, it gives you summoning rituals and what you can ask of these demons. So there's some that will give you wealth, there's some that will give you love. And again, the most demonic stories in pop culture are around, this demon wants to damn your soul to hell, they want to curse you and blah, blah, blah. But again, the way it's normally given throughout Christianity's lore is they want to give you good things. They want you to trust them. They want you to come over to their side because their ultimate goal is to point you away from what's true and holy. So because of that, there's nothing in the Lesser Key of Solomon that says, and if you do this, your house will burn down, or you have to sacrifice your firstborn. It's all like, you'll get money, and then everything will be good. Look at that, you did it yourself. And because of that, it is the most menacing. It scares me so much. The concepts of it bothers me. Because, like, yeah, you hear all these stories, like you on YouTube, how many, summoning the devil at 3 a.m. videos, whatever. Like, sure. All those are clearly fake. But if someone was to do, like, the Lesser Key of Solomon, they're like, oh, look at that. My stocks went up this week. How lovely. Absolutely not. It terrifies me. So I've thought about doing a video on that. But again, as someone who truly does believe in it, at least to a degree, I am so afraid of, like, being like, okay, hey kids, so this is the demon's name, and here's his sigil. Be sure to draw this on your bathtub or whatever. Like, yeah. But yeah.
The power that a demon could have through you with your audience.
Exactly.
You could put something out there that was seemingly innocuous and get thousands of people around the world to do it. Rituals, incantations, blood rituals. All sorts of things. Sacrifices.
Yeah. He's already made me decide to spend money every day.
Yeah. I haven't remembered to pray in a minute. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little worried about that. Look, the thing is, if there was a demon out there, like, I like the Crossroads demons analogy, or not, example, and Supernatural. Basically, you go somewhere to the crossroads at midnight on wherever the fuck. Demon's gonna show up, make a bargain with this guy, sort of thing like, save my baby's life, and he's like, all right, but I get your soul in 40 years, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. If that were available, there'd be a line. There'd be a line. There'd be a line of people TikToking their deals. Right?
Absolutely. Like, yeah.
There would be a reality show where the devil could make his own reality show with horns and, like, hell in the background. Here's last season's losers, and they're back there screaming in eternal flames, and people would come right on the show and try.
That's terrible. Yeah. Like, basic macroeconomics tells us that as you increase the supply, right, this line, that the deals they strike will get worse and worse. You'll be trading your soul for, like, a tank of gas.
It's a tank of gas that
economy's
never runs
getting
out.
tough, Woody.
Yeah, I got had by the Crossroads demon because of soul inflation.
Eventually, they shut off the markets because the supply of souls is too much, and they don't need to intake anymore. The exporting's already enough of a hassle. It's
my God.
Yeah, the demonic Fed is raising rates.
You can have you can only have so many people who are rulers of the world. So like that's getting complicated.
Yeah, you got the demons have to be like, who wants something like less, like way less. Like, we'll take
Senator, state senator. I got plenty of souls around here.
State senator.
I'm a senator. Anytime, just let me know. We've got a couple positions we can fill out. Midwest states, if you're cool with that.
Kentucky's about to open up, I think.
You can be the president. Hear me out. Somalia. No, I'd rather be a middle class person.
First
here.
president of Somalia.
Dude, well, what I'm learning from this, you're saying the demons, they aren't traditionally scary in that way, which actually checks out with Christianity. Like, they want to imbue you with pride, or one of the sins of thinking you can get ahead. But they also help people. They do things like curing the blind by the thousands, curing the deaf by the thousands. Curing the deaf, yes.
The deaf.
So does that make you give any more thought to the Mr. Mark of the Beast theory?
Oh, yeah. Wait, Mr. Mark of the Beast? You're talking about the Mark of the Beast from Revelations, right?
Yes, with Mr. Beast. You've seen those people on... Yeah, Mr. Mark of the Beast. Have you seen those people on...
I did not.
Have you had your chocolate yet? Have you taken it into your body yet?
Have you seen those people on Twitter? There's a bunch of people on Twitter who are...
I should have known that's where that was going, but that blindsided me. Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, there's a lot of people online that are convinced that he's trying to pull the wool over people's eyes by pulling the wool off of their eyes.
It's interesting. No, I won't say to Mr. Beast specifically, but that man, I have to give a good transition before I talk about this, or else it could get clipped so easily. Yeah. But not Mr. Beast, but insert another person. is similar to a lot of Christian ideas around like the Antichrist, right? Like the purpose of the Antichrist is to unite the nations. It's not that the devil needs to win, he just needs God to lose, right? That's his whole purpose. So like for one, the devil's a losing battle. The devil knows it's a losing battle. He's just trying to get as many souls as he can while he's there. And what's the better way to get people's souls? By, tormenting them, making their necks spin around and like float off beds, or to be an administrator of wealth and knowledge, prosperity, what have you. Sure. And it's interesting to see like the shift that had, because previous to, I would say, Enlightenment era, all stories around demonic activity were about that. It was always about like deals with the devil that were made, of like the devil was portrayed as like a false member of the clergy, or perhaps a ruler or king who'd come to people and give them wealth and wisdom. The stories like Faust capitalize on a lot of those legends. But then after the Enlightenment era, after in time where it like the religious tone shifted from God being prosperous, the devil being prosperous, but God being a true prosperer in like the afterlife. Once it shifted to these kind of black and white ideas of good and evil, like the devil, pitchfork, horns, going around trying to torment people. Once that cultural idea shifted, then our stories around the devil shifted. It went from kind of this person who wants to give you what you want into someone trying to trick you, or someone nefarious looking to cause harm or kill as many people as he can. But again, to Christianity and Judaism, that's not his MO. That's not what he's trying to do.
I could believe that about the devil. That makes sense. If you've got some sort of figurehead, he's got his own plans.
Yeah.
But what about a rogue demon? That seems more interesting to me.
So that's an interesting point, and something I think about a lot with these things, because again, a lot of the stories in the Bible around demon, like he's described, or around the devil, Satan's described as the morning star, right? He's described as beautiful, conniving, wise, and stuff like that. But there's also stories about unwise demons, seem like you said, rogue demons, just their own things. Like for example, the story of the maniac from Gader. He was a guy said to be possessed by thousands of demons, and he would wander the tombs himself. He had broken chains because the people of the village tried to chain him, and he would snap the chains and run into the countryside. And whenever he approached Jesus, and Jesus looked at him and he fell to the ground, Jesus said, "Who art thou?" And the maniac replied,
"We are legion.
We are legion, for we are many." Yeah, which is where that's why that line gets pulled into every demonic story or whatever. And it says that Jesus banished the demons from him, and the demons went into swine that were in the countryside, and the swine ran off a cliff like they were crazed. So that's very different from like the conniving, dealing devil. That's just like wild.
That's what Constantine does. If you watch the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves, now I'm sure they made this shit up for the fucking movie. They're like, so maybe we just throw the demon in like a pig and then kill the pig. No, they threw it in a mirror and then shattered the mirror. I saw a movie recently with who used to the Gladiator guy. He's fat now. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe made this movie like this year called The Pope's Exorcist. Yes. And I'm sure it's based on probably the last official Catholic exorcist or whatever. Probably, I don't know, but it's it's a silly movie. But at one point he takes the demon and puts it in a pig and then kills the pig. And I can't remember if it was a real demon or if it was just to go through the ritual for the mentally ill kid there. I can't remember if they said which it was, but I like both of those ideas a lot. I like the idea that we could maybe, and that's what happens in The Exorcist, spoiler alert, his father, Karras, was it? Like lets the demon into his body and then throws himself out the window. Yeah. Did he throw himself out, or did the demon throw the body out because it couldn't stand to be within the pure body of the priest?
I think the demon threw his body out.
It couldn't cohabitate in a body so that also had God in it, perhaps.
Yeah,
I like to think that.
Because Pazuzu shows up in the sequels, right? So then canonically it would be that the demon threw him out.
What's his name? Blatty is the writer, I think. He's got three names: William Blatty or whatever the fuck. Exorcist 3 is the true kind of sequel. If you've ever seen that, it's tremendous. It's very good.
Good movie.
Yeah, and I don't know. The demon, of course, wouldn't tell you whether he lost or won in the first movie, I suppose. But if you know what happened, it seems like he pretty much won.
The priest is dead. The demon isn't.
Yeah, and the priest suffers for all that time, like this, just having to watch behind the eyes as he kills children and does all sorts of horrible things.
Are there any world leaders now, maybe of like religious groups or whatever, that you look at and you're like a little wary of? Like, you seem a little
Taylor Swift,
little demonic. I think Taylor Swift. She does
She's
have
the
a
leader
good
of the biggest
reputation.
religious
She did
organization
the
that I'm
thing.
aware
She did
of.
the thing.
Did she?
Wait, what does that thing mean, Wendy?
Oh, that's just the Illuminati or the
That means
goat's
she's
head
gonna eat
from
that
the show
redhead
Murka.
from Game of Thrones' pussy. That's what that means. She's
I was
stolen
mixing it
her
up
away
with
from
Kyle. I thought that was the
Jonas'
vagina sign.
brother.
I see it slightly different.
I thought it was a
Only slightly.
yes, because it's evil. Because ox is dangerous.
It is actually interesting. It is interesting how much in like old folklore that like I know we're joking about it, but in a lot of old folklore it was explicitly described as demonic. Like it's an evil. It's part of women's curse, like of Eve, that like a part of the devil is embedded with her. There's a lot of imagery around like this being explicitly demonic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no good.
Shucks.
We've all seen Alien, okay? And we know the vaginas are bad. They mean death.
What about the Pope? What's he up to? Do we need to keep an eye on him?
I'm not a big fan of Catholicism. I mean, I've been open about this before. I'm not a big fan of Catholicism. I don't like the idea if you have a religion and now you're like, all right, we got that whole God thing, but we can run it. Let's put ourselves in charge, So, I wouldn't say demonic or anything. I think that Catholic beliefs still, at its core, align with Christianity as far as the beliefs of Jesus and redemption. It's everything after that I'm not a fan of. As far as, I think there's a ton of religious groups throughout history that I would describe, if not demonic, then like demon adjacent. Whenever they take like ideas of Christianity and completely flip them around. Like for example, Church of Satan, the Anton LaVey and all that, posers, jokes, it's like they were just edgelords. The entire synopsis of the Satanic Bible is, if God real, why bad thing happen? That's their whole, that's all they got. So I'm not considering him some mastermind or whatever, but I think instead religious groups who have like taken like large groups of people and then been like, yeah, oh, you like God and Jesus, that's cool, but what if you did it this way? What if you changed a bit? Like for example, I would say Jim Jones. I would definitely consider him adjacent. I would consider Ervil LeBaron. He was one of the early members of Mormonism who brought a bunch of people to the desert, ended up being a serial killer, like had his cult kill mass numbers of people.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say
When
people
was
like
that? I'm interested in that.
Ervil LeBaron.
Ervil Redenbacher. He's the popcorn guy.
I want to say it was... Hold on, let me just type it in. His name's Ervil LeBaron. People joke because if you take out the R, his name is Evil the Baron. It was, like 1950s, 1960s it happened.
Were you a misbehavior in school?
No, I was a super good
Suspensions,
kid. I just
detentions?
only play games and shit. I didn't want to, the worst I'd get in trouble. I went to an all-boys private Jesuit high school, and the worst trouble I'd get is I would try to skip mass because we'd have like church every Tuesday or something, and I'd go into the band room and hide in one of the practice rooms with was it a PS2 or an N64, and I try to play games in there sometimes. If I got caught, I got in trouble.
That's a nice little hustle. What is like the core thing of Jesuits that makes them different than like normal Christians?
Jesuits are it's the teaching order of the Catholic Church, and they're just like pretty chill. They're like pretty like liberal. They're not like hardcore fundamentalists.
Okay, so because I was kind of imagining like the Hasidic Jews, like some sort of a scarier version.
Yeah, but the Hasidic are hardcore.
Yeah, I see them, but I don't believe them.
The way that I would like phrase it is that like I'm very atheist today. I'm not religious at all. I would never. Well, I'm not sending my child to a Catholic grade school. I think I would send him to a Jesuit high school though. Really good education. People are good. They care a lot about that shit.
Yeah, a lot of the times, like if you want the highest quality education, you have to go with like a private school, and along with that private school comes some religious nonsense a lot of the time. But like if it was a choice, like and I had a kid, and it was like, all right, he can go to a dog shit public school, or he can go to a school that's going to be way better, and he also has to learn about God. And it's like, you know what, we can just keep an eye on him with the God stuff, and make sure he doesn't go whole hog into like doing what I did as a kid, like laying awake sleepless nights at the age of 8, horrified, having nightmares of like my grandparents burning in hell because they weren't good enough Christians. And just get rid of that. Get rid of that angle, get rid of the hell angle, and it's all good.
I like the hell angle. I think we need, some consequences. Keep us in line.
Yeah, but those are some intense consequences, man.
Yeah, I guess.
God needs to fucking chill out.
He is quite the disciplinarian.
Yeah. He's a fucking dick. Like, he made all of us, and he's gonna be mad that we didn't turn out the way you wanted.
Did he design? Oh, I was gonna ask you this. If you saw the, I think I saw a thing on Reddit the other day, and it was images of angels as they were described in the Bible.
The huge ball of like fur, and then the 1,000 wings and the eye
and eyeballs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why whenever somebody's just like, oh yeah, like, first of all, we don't become angels, bitch. We don't get halos. That's another creature that God made up all to his own, and like we don't know what they fucking look like, but apparently they look like eyeballs wreathed in wings or some shit. That was terrifying.
Yeah. God made sure to make all the angels really scary, even scarier than the demons in some ways.
Well, the demons are angels.
They were. Yep.
Yeah.
Fallen angels now.
I love made up things.
Yeah, I like made up things too. It's like an even deeper world than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's I think it's more fun if you think about Christianity like it's Tolkien's second project.
Yeah.
And that way the plot holes, you're like, well, he was an old man.
I mean, what this God character used to be really hardcore. Now he's a bitch.
treat Hebrew like another one of Tolkien's languages he made up, like the whole thing. Like you totally learned it then.
Oh yeah.
I'd break out the Torah right away if it was like the Silmarillion.
I mean, I bet there were people like when the New Testament was being written. Well, I guess, yeah, there were definitely these people, the Jewish people. They didn't like it, like the Pharisees and the Sadducees. But he, if you're used to a God that's super intense, telling you to like beat your slaves and subject women and everything, and then he comes around and starts lightening up on all that,
big time.
It's probably natural to be like, whoa. So all this shit we've been doing, the shellfish, the whole thing, it's all been for nothing? All of it. Like, no, fuck you. We didn't do nothing. We did this because it matters. So
I've never had an oyster.
As if they were like
about
readily
the
available.
Christianity quote, the cosmic Jewish zombie thing.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Christianity, the belief that a cosmic Jewish zombie who was his own father can make you live forever if you symbolically eat his flesh and telepathically tell him you accept him as your master, so he can remove an evil force from your soul that is present in humanity because a rib woman was convinced by a talking snake to eat from a magical tree.
I mean, I'm gonna...
L. Ron Hubbard's starting to make a little sense, ain't he, boys?
I'm jumping both feet into every religion the second I develop a serious disease.
I'm waiting for combat.
Just cover my bets. What happens if I'm wrong? I look like an idiot.
Thing
Who
that
cares?
happens well, we just are wrong. You just are wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of like the flawed arguments that they presented to us in high school, at my religious high school, where they're like some square where it's like, they literally said like, if you believe and it's real, you go to heaven. If you believe and it's not real, what do you lose? If you don't believe and it doesn't exist, who cares? If you don't believe and it does exist, you're going to hell. And it was like, I don't remember the name of it.
It's called Pascal's Wager.
Pascal's Wager. That's it. And like even at the time, it's like, this doesn't seem like a convincing way to like get us on board with
and this
like,
is how you'll live your
a veiled
lives.
threat. Yeah, all the threats in the religion.
Just imagine
I don't like
a
that.
rock over your head for all it. Come on, like, the whole thing is nonsense.
Yeah, and even if like heaven's real and we all go there, who's to say God doesn't change his mind 10 trillion years in and switch things up?
He's never done that before.
Yeah, notoriously consistent that God. But
do you think he'll want us to call him like Yahweh or something? Like, will he have like a name when we show up? Will he think it's weird we call him God?
Muhammad.
It'd be like, oh God, it's you. He'd be like, hey, man.
I think he'll ask us.
Parents call me God.
I'm gonna call him Mr. Christ. Out of respect, Mr. Christ.
I call him Jesus because we're so tight.
Professor Christ.
What if you get there and he's like he's like basically an infant, like he's just a pouty child. Like remember that Twilight Zone with the?
I would hate that.
The little boy who's like the monster, and they're like, "That's a real good thing you did, Timmy. That's real good."
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a great Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully He's full-grown Jesus.
I want
not old Jesus. I
Sometimes
want like fresh off the cross Jesus.
Oh, I prefer infant Jesus.
Still jacked.
No, I like that infant Jesus, like from the Will Ferrell movie, the Talladega Nights. So, like, when we're playing poker, like, sometimes you get all in, and the other guy calls or whatever, a little bit of money might be on the line. You want the cards to go your way. So, my friend Fish, he starts praying for me in Arabic, presumably to Allah. Wouldn't make much sense to be used Arabic to talk to Jesus. And then at the same time, I pray to baby Jesus, like the infant Jesus in the, swaddled up in the manger and everything. Doesn't understand poker at all, but I pray to him, and it works out like more than you'd think. We've gotten some pretty good cards.
It can't hurt.
It literally can't.
The only way it could hurt is if you prayed to the wrong God, and the right God knew that, and then he fucked your hand up as like recompense.
Yeah. I don't think he's quite that petty to like
He
intervene in my
absolutely
poker
is.
game.
He turned those Lot's wife into salt.
He did, but she did look. She turned around, and he told her not to. So
when
like
you're
that's
right,
not
you're
petty
right.
at all.
It isn't bad. Yeah, the God of the Old Testament's kind of a bitch.
I mean, I like the part right before that where Lot, the hero of the story, was offering his daughters to be raped by a mob of angry people in place of these two strangers he just met.
Yeah, trying to like settle things down by letting his daughters get raped. 2 thumbs down, and that's the guy who got saved.
God,
how horrible was the rest of that city?
Does he do that anytime somebody causes like a ruckus in the neighborhood? Like, calm down, girls. Girls, get out there and see if you do something about that. Fuck.
Right.
He was just running hard.
I'd just be outside Lot's house, just making trouble all the time.
Bagging pots and pans together.
I like shaking the dumpster. Don't worry. Wait, watch. You won't believe it. Yeah. Here they come. Here they come. Yeah, he strips him naked. He doesn't care.
That's one of the worst stories. Well, Job is the worst story of the Bible, probably.
The one. What's the one when I thought when Abraham was gonna fucking sacrifice his son, like straight up stab his son
for God.
Based on a dream or whatever.
I saw the end of that one coming a mile away.
That's some petty shit too. That like, good luck having a conversation over dinner tonight. You don't have to kill him. Yeah, you're good. And then they, Dad, are you for real? There's got to be a Family Guy where that happens, right?
And it's like I'm sure there probably is, but it's like
where the son is like, the fuck.
Like he made him do that to see if he would actually go through with it, but it's like he knew the whole time he would. Why? It's just an exercise in cruelty to carry it out.
A decent, like he just wanted the emotional torture to be inflicted upon Abraham, clearly, because an all-knowing God would have known that Abraham was going to do it, or he could have just watched him as he like picked the knife out, sharpened the fucker up, and like took his son to the altar or whatever. I'm imagining an altar.
Yeah, it was definitely an altar there. And then at the last second, he says, just fucking with you,
like
cut that shit out,
hand.
Go to this bush, there's a ram in there, tied up in the bush, and then he went and killed the ram.
Yeah.
Can't have a good day go by without murdering something.
Does he like magic those rams into existence, or did God like thief a ram from a less obedient farmer?
I think it's largely magic when he does stuff like that. Or maybe not, because he probably wouldn't want to kill a magically conjured animal. He'd probably want one with like
not much of a sacrifice.
Emotions, family.
It would need to be one of his like animals to like get across the whole like sacrificial thing, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would make more sense, because if you sacrifice somebody else's animal, that's no sacrifice at all. That's just theft and animal cruelty. At least I'm told.
I mean, you read about like the Jews when they were in their Exodus period.
Yeah,
Diaspora,
I believe.
It was all just fucking killing animals. They were like starving and had to have manna fall from the heavens to feed them, but like they were still expected to kill sheep all the time.
Don't they call that the diaspora? Do I have that right?
I don't know.
That's a vocabulary word for you.
Manna exists outside of Magic the Gathering?
Oh yeah, it's real.
Yeah, manna from heaven is when all of the Jews they were traveling around the desert, 40 years in the desert, and 40 years is just like a number. 40 is a number used in the Bible to mean a very long time, not necessarily a specific amount of time. But the only way that they got food, because they were in the desert, was the Lord would send like pieces of bread from heaven to fall down on them. And I mean, obviously, it does
make sense that it's
most
a
likely
sequel of Lord of the
didn't
Rings.
even happen.
because they
most likely didn't happen.
magic bread.
Yeah, I would give it like 50-50 best.
There's a chapter. I love that there's a chapter in the Bible called "Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs," and we just accept it. Like that's okay.
Wait, what?
Because that's what it was. It was just food falling from
You don't know
heaven.
about the "Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs" movie and children's book that's very popular?
Sylvia
It's a sequel.
Plath, maybe?
Huh?
Sylvia Plath, is she the author?
I don't know
I'm
the
not sure.
author. It's just a joke.
I don't know. Yeah, I remember like I would get so hungry during church that like when they would teach us about manna, I'd be like, I imagined honey buns. Like, and I thought like, man, a ton. You didn't like honey buns?
They're kind of white trash, if I'm being honest.
Oh, well, I loved honey buns.
I always found them to be below me.
Okay, well, fuck you then. The honey buns are good. They're a high quality gas station snack. And
I'm more of a zebra cake kind of guy. Only the best.
So this is like a teaser preview for I guess probably next PKA. I was actually looking around doing more Bible research, trying to find what I think is the upper echelon of Bible tales. And so I'll bring one of those next week, but I'm hammering through them. If you guys have suggestions, tweet them at me.
All right.
Murka Durka, tweet them at me. Because there's a lot of great ones, and it's easy to overlook them. But
the Bible,
I like the ones
the
that don't make any
original
fucking
alt
sense.
facts.
Yeah, I like the ones where like God like the one where he tortures Job because of a bet that he's got with this Satan. Like, and then in the end, like he's just like, well, guess I win, and walks away and leaves Job in his rubble. Like, that's such a shit fucking story. Like, I feel like if you told anybody that, like when they were just getting into Christianity, you'd be like, oh, let me tell you this one thing God did. All right, so he makes this bet, right? He gambles with Satan. You know, the Lord of Darkness. We covered him earlier, right? He makes a bet with him against his like most loyal human subject of them all, and basically tortures that guy endlessly for at least a few months, maybe.
It's not a starter story. You lead into that one. Or
You got to
just
get
ignore
through a
it
lot
altogether.
of loaves of bread and fish from Jesus before you start telling them about what God did to Job.
If God told that story on Facebook, we'd all unfriend him.
Yeah, if God told that story and was like, am I the asshole? We'd all be like, yes, you are the asshole. Yes.
Yeah. Dude, I totally want to like put that in Am I the Asshole, like the subreddit. Just tell the story of Job.
There's plenty of them like that, I would imagine. Like the story of Job.
Just a couple books after that, Elisha orders a lot of children to be murdered by bears because they mocked him for being bald. He's a very sensitive prophet. About that, at least. Yeah. Did you know that? You know that story? That's the whole story. They said,
spoiler.
Look, they said,
hey,
look at.
Tell your flesh from your bones, and
That's what it is. It was. They said, and they called out to him, bald man, or something like that, and that was enough for Elisha to be like, all 40 of these kids are useless garbage, trash. And then God's like, I let you control these 2 bears just for like the next 15 minutes, though. Don't go crazy. And then he uses the bears to murder all the children, and they not a single one survived. And when you think about it, that's like all the farmers, all the workers in like the little village nearby. Like they can't survive that. They've put too many resources into these kids already. But they shouldn't have been such a bunch of loudmouth faggots to that prophet.
Put all your eggs in one basket with those kids. Shouldn't have done it. Yeah, you kill 40 kids in like biblical times. Like Jesus Christ, that's an enormous amount of kids.
Too many kids to murder for that joke. Even
with Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, like okay, I get it that these are like they were breaking God's law and being immoral or whatever they were up to, butt fucking. But that one part where like Lot offers those rapers his daughters, his virgin daughters. He's like over these strange men he just met in the darkness. Like he just met some strangers at night, and the crowd wants to rape them. They must have been some good-looking guys.
Yeah, there's some horrible, horrible parents in the Bible.
The worst.
That, you know, they didn't have chicken soup for the soul or anything to go off of. So, you know, you make a lot of mistakes.
He turned his wife into a pillar of salt.
You make a lot of mistakes.
Then Lot fucked his daughters.
I mean, you got to keep the species. You got to keep. I mean, technically, they didn't really need to fuck his daughters as much as he probably wanted.
Well, they got him wasted. They plied him with honeyed wine. It was not his fault. We all know you get enough honeyed wine in you, who knows what could happen, right? Your wife turned to salt.
Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, not the wife turning to salt, the honeyed wine.
Well, you know, the honeyed wine. That's mead, right? Like there's that. Isn't mead a honeyed alcoholic beverage where they?
That much is true. Isn't it a beer though? Am I crazy, or is it just its own thing, mead?
I would think it would be a kind of beer.
Fermenting honey with water and fruits.
Okay. And then grog. Grog was rum and water, right? And then with a pirate drink.
Are you shitting me? That is
no. It was the only way to make sure your water wasn't bad was to add rum to it.
Oh man, there's no way that water tasted at all acceptable on a hot ship
like
day
grog.
Full of rum.
That was, and they had that issue with scurvy, because they're eating nothing but like salted dried beef or meat or whatever, and drinking grog, so they're getting no vitamins.
Yeah, it's all just liquid dead calories and alcohol, and salted pork.
What?
Salted? A Bible tale, a story of.
You know I do. Oh, I thought you were asking to end the call, to which I was going to say, no.
No. Well, I was asking because if you had said like 3 minutes or 3 hours and 50 minutes, I'd be like, okay, we can end on a Bible tale, but it's not going to be half hour, so we'll just tell it now. Then.
I still want the Bible tale.
We talked about Elisha some last week. You guys remember? He's one of the Jew wizards known as prophets from the Old Testament who. Magic things. He's the guy who they called him bald head, all the children, in the town, and then he summoned the 2 bears to slaughter the children and told them, that'll show you to be a little snarky from now on. And so that seemed like an Am I the Asshole story where he was totally an asshole. And so I wanted to even it out a little bit. Like Elisha couldn't have been that bad. God gave him superpowers. And so here's a better side of Elisha. So and it's a more obscure Bible tale, so a lot of people won't know this one. So there's a guy named Naaman, and Naaman was a general for Syria, or Assyria, whatever the fuck it was back then. And they didn't get along great with Israel. If you read the Old Testament, it's pretty much just over and over Israel being like, and then we ran into the Moabites, and they were total assholes until we conquered them. And then we ran into the Ammonites, and even bigger assholes till we conquered them. And just kind of that story. But they weren't getting along at the time, and Israel had the lower hand. He was more powerful. And this guy, Naaman, had leprosy. And leprosy, obviously, very bad. I don't fully understand how you can be like a general and have leprosy, because I feel like it's super, super contagious and anybody would get it. But he did. He had leprosy, and he wanted to try and get it cured. They tried everything. Honey rubs, goat milk, all the things, all the classics, and nothing worked. And so he goes to his king, I'm going to go seek out the king of Israel, because that dude has this guy Elisha in his bench, and he's magic. He's an actual magic man who might be able to save me from leprosy. So I'm going to go give it a go. And so this guy reaches out to the king of Israel and goes, hey, I'm coming over. Don't panic. Just coming over for a bit. If you could hook me up with Elisha and try and heal me, that would be awesome. And the king of Israel was like, this is so shady bullshit. Like, there's no way he's coming over. He's going to come try and conquer us. And Elisha overhears the message that was sent to the king of Israel and goes, hey, just send him straight to me. Just send him straight to me. It's going to be fine. Send him to my little hovel, my hobbit home, wherever I live. And so this guy, Naaman, brings gifts, chariots, gold, spices, all the stuff that you want back in the day. And he shows up at Elisha's house, waiting there. He's got leprosy. The boils are so sore. He's been walking over the desert all day. Imagine doing that in bullshit sandals and covered in pustules and boils with necrosis occurring on your little appendages. And he's waiting out there, waiting. Elisha, are you coming out? Elisha, sitting in there, tells his servant to go out and tell him, hey, I'm not available. I got a lot of stuff going on right now, so I'm not coming out. You're not going to see me. Just go bathe in the Jordan River 7 times, and you'll be fine. And Naaman is pissed. He's like, I just brought look at how many people are here right now, and how many chariots, and how many things. I brought all of this just to be like, he told him, like, I expected you to come out and wave your hands and place hands on me and get rid of this leprosy, and instead you tell me to go take a dunk 7 times in a dirty river miles from here. It's ridiculous. I'm going home. And so Naaman's about to head back, and of course, apparently one of his servants had seen a Netflix series at one point, because he's like, no, dude, this is obviously like a woo gotcha kind of thing that he's doing. So let's give it a go. We're going to stop at the Jordan River on the way back. Either way, we have to cross it. Just dunk yourself. Fuck. And so they get to the river. He dunks himself 7 times, and he comes out pristine, clean as ever, completely cured. And he is like, so he's elated. He tries to send all the gifts to Elijah, so just give it to him. I don't care what he says. Just make sure that guy gets it. This is the best. Like, I'm not going to die. I'm great. Like, praise to the Israel God. Sends him all the gifts, and Elisha again says, no, I'm not taking any gifts. Take him back. And so Naaman's like, whatever, dude. Fine. And so he takes all the gifts back, brings them home. The guy doesn't have leprosy. What Elisha's servant then does is some really sketchy bullshit. He goes to Naaman and says, that whole gift thing, hilarious story. He thought that you wanted a gift from him, and he said he didn't have one, but we definitely want all those gifts. We want all of them. All those gifts you brought the other day, I'll lead him back there. I'll bring him back, okay? And Naaman's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I trust you. You just saved my life, so take it. Take the chariots and the gold and whatever, and keep it. And this guy, Elisha's servant, ends up keeping all of it from Elisha and doesn't tell him that he took that gift. And so this guy's now loaded off of his ass, off of a bunch of stuff that he didn't do for Elisha. Elisha, of course, is a wizard of sorts, a prophet, and so he figures this out. I don't know what the servant thought he was going to do by pulling the wool over this guy's eyes, who just cured leprosy. He just cured somebody's leprosy, and he's like, this is the guy to screw. Like, fuck this guy. And so he gets it. Elisha finds out, brings him in. It's almost like he's getting fired, where you get called into the office and it's quiet and it's, we've had a lot of discussions in the past about issues of behavior. You've read our code of conduct and our ethics policy. You know how we do things here at Jews Incorporated, and this is not how we do it. And the servant, expecting just to get fired or let go, like, oh, I can't help this old wizard man anymore with his daily duties in between curing people. And Elisha flips the script and goes, actually, you're going to get leprosy. And he goes, actually, no, that's not it. All of your descendants will have leprosy. Now get out of my house. And so this servant, for stealing stuff, gets venge leprosy from a prophet, and that's not even enough. It's, if you do manage to get laid with your necrotic leprosy cock, that kid's popping out like, covered in welts and boils and whatnot. Like, your whole livelihood is ruined. It's all for nothing. And there's no chapter in later books where they revisit it and they say, you know what, it's been years, you've learned your lesson, haven't you? And he goes, my tongue fell out, but that's it. And then he goes, okay, fine, they cure him. Like, no, it doesn't happen. They just let him die of leprosy. So really, he didn't even cure leprosy, he just transferred it to another soul.
That's what
now,
happened.
at the start of it, you said, hey, I'm going to paint Elisha in a kinder light. I'm not
if
sure
you
did
put out
that.
the last few lines, it's as positive as Elisha gets. Those Old Testament prophets, like the stories they tell you about them in Sunday school, are not the interesting stories with those prophets. They'll tell you the ones of like, oh, and then he came out and he, there's blindness, and he put his hands on the guys and the scales fell from his eyes and he was able to see once more. They never tell you the fun shit about bears attacking the children or vengeful leprosy given out by a madman who won't accept gifts from an enemy general who he cures of leprosy. And to be fair, the end game of all of this is that Israel conquered Moab, those people there in Syria or whatever it was. So in the end, it's like, hey, you don't have any leprosy, but we're coming to kill you in like 3 weeks anyway. And that did end up happening, and they slaughtered 10,000 in the city and conquered it for 80 years. So it did pan out for Israel.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's the thing with Bible stories in the Old Testament. If you take off like the last 15, 16%, they're very uplifting.
Yeah, those always end really harshly. It's almost like some Roman senator came back later and put something in there to frighten the masses.
Yes, fluoride.
Fluoride, that makes them gay.
Fluoride. That's why all these
senators
senators
Senator Alex Jones, I believe.
Senator Alex Jones.
From the great state of crazy motherfuckers and scam.
I believe that was Senator Governor Jesse the Body Ventura.
I love that.
Elisha never cured that leprosy. It's a rumor started by the establishment to let them take full control of healthcare in this country. That's the level of stuff he says.
Yeah.
I was saying the shocking thing is he was 15 years old in 1950.
Well,
meaning that why would they put a 15-year-old in charge?
Do you think that they waited till Jesus turned like 21 before they said he was God? No, he was God from day one. That's why the wise men showed up. See, and you're surprised that the Dalai Lama became one at 15? It took him long enough as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, if you put him on the Jesus path, he's a bit of a slacker.
Yep. And
I can't name a single miracle this lazy piece of shit has done.
Jesus peaked early.
Peaked early, you say?
Yeah.
Well, he died at 33.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, tell us about maybe you're not prepared, Taylor, but I was thinking about this earlier in the week that I would love to hear about Jonah and the whale.
Oh, Jonah and the whale. I'll have to do a refresher on that before I do, because I haven't read about Jonah and the whale in a while. And the funniest part about the Bible stories is reading through them again beforehand and being like, they did not mention this part in Sunday school. They glossed over this.
I remember this from Pinocchio.
Jonah and the whale. I promise I will do Jonah and the whale next week. That's a good suggestion.
That is a good one.
That. And anybody else who has good Bible stories, leave a suggestion of them, and the more obscure the better, because there's some interesting obscure shit in there.
Yeah, I like it when like God is really shitty to people for like some really dumb, seemingly
Old Testament reason. God.
Yeah, when he's like he's just like petty. I like more petty God stories where like some guy is like he didn't like say a prayer before he ate the fish that God gave him, and so God knocked all of his teeth out, and then like he pissed his teeth for all time, or whatever awful thing God would do to people for no apparent reason at all.
With Elijah, I'd have to remember the full story, but like he ordered Elijah at one point to like as a demonstration to his people that they'd been like super shitty for so many years. He's like, all right, Elijah, you go up to that mountaintop alone, lay on your side for 40 days. Lay on your side for 40 days, and you have to only eat bread that you cook over your own burning shit. That's what God told Elijah to do. He said,
go lay keto on your side
and this is
I'm on the Elijah diet. My side is raw and infected. And it's just bread. This bread, I'm telling you right now, you want to lose weight, you eat a loaf of this bread. This shit bread.
It looks like rye, but it is not.
And I'll tell you when it gets bad. It's not the first loaf. It's when you start cooking shit bread with shit that's composed of shit bread. And that's when things get rough.
And God even backed off of it. Because like he told them, I'll have to like look at this story to get all the details more, but he was laying on his side and he's like, Elijah, you can only eat like bread that you cook over your own shit. And God's like turns to the angels like I mean, and Elijah's like, are you kidding? Like, God, like I don't want to be out of line here, but this is pretty ridiculous. And God actually goes like, you know what? You're right. You can use cow shit. And that was it. He lets Elijah burn it over cow patties because, and Elijah, the way I remember Elijah explaining it is that you can't just go back to God and be like, this is disgusting human shit, because God will be like, you defy my will. But like Elijah had to go the thing of like, Lord, I'm a beacon of you and your things and, you know, your essence inside me. Like, you wouldn't want me eating human shit. Like, that's dirty. That's for like pagans. And God's like, well, there's probably one of the rules I made up earlier that's a pretty good line with that. I did put you in charge of knowing that. So, all right, cow shit it is. But, oh man, being a prophet didn't seem like a fun job. You got to like talk shit on people though. And and no matter what you did, God was going to let you into heaven.
I think the best job is if you're one of God's like war kings. Like if you're one of the guys who needs to go kill people for God. Like you seem to have a lot of leeway for you. Like you can fuck bitches and like forget about the law of God, but you can just be like, God, look at all the cities I got you. And he's like, well, you did get me all those cities. I mean, fuck. Hey, all right. You make a point.
But Elijah never died. Did you know that?
He was carried away in the fiery chariot?
No. He was one of two people in the Bible who never died. Elijah was taken up to heaven before his death in a chariot of fire. which
Also-
probably killed them en route because
Or it might have been a UFO too. Some believe they believe a UFO came and took Elijah in his chariot of fire.
that's even sillier than God.
I heard a joke. Do you
It
know
is,
why
right?
God made Abraham kill his son Isaac at 12?
Why he instructed him to? No, what'd you hear?
Because it's supposed to be a sacrifice, and if he waited till he was a teenager, it wouldn't have been.
Okay.
Get
I
it?
was looking for an actual biblical thing there for a second. I was like, oh no, I've been hoodwinked. Like, that was pretty damn it, I didn't see it coming.
That joke's
that
better
was-
than good one. I circled back with my mom about your most recent Bible story.
Oh no.
And she confirmed it was correct.
Actually, she said it was pretty good. There were a couple minor qualms she had. One was when you told the story. I'm terrible with names. Who was the guy who kept saying, "Fuck it, I'll do some more," because God gave him like kind of a stubbornness?
Pharaoh.
Oh, that was the Pharaoh. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, where he wouldn't let them leave.
It turns
even
out
when he kind of wanted to. Yeah.
the God for the first 3 rounds, that stubbornness was his. And it wasn't until rounds like 4 through 12 or whatever that God injected that stubbornness on him.
I'm
lost.
You gotta throw down on that one?
First of all, conceding that there was any point where God infringed on his promise of providing free will to his creations kind of proves my point. But despite that, early on in that story, I'm almost fucking positive that the hardening of his heart started earlier than that.
Okay.
Like
all right.
it started
Her
early
other-
and like.
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead.
in no position to judge who's right or who's wrong.
No,
but
Woody, I will treat you as the opposition.
she also said that when you told the story, you said that I guess were they Jewish slaves? They they didn't suffer the impact of this, and she said that for the first couple of rounds they did, and then God gave them a bye somehow.
Well, she should know there weren't any Jewish slaves to begin with, so it's all
That
lies.
was all made up. That never happened. But she is wrong in that regard, because when all of the water was turned to blood, the Israelites or Hebrew, Jewish, whatever water was not turned to blood.
Well, my mommy says you're wrong, so
I mean, we can look at the good book and confirm right now, because
I do want to know who's right. I'm very curious because my
no one's right because it's made up. We're arguing
right,
about
because
this is
like
like we're
Harry
arguing
Potter
about Hansel and Gretel. Like no. You see, the outside of the house was marshmallow, and you're coming back with no. Marshmallow simply wouldn't work. It would have to be a hard candy.
They're gumdrops. They're
You would
gumdrops
never
for sure.
use marshmallow for the exterior of a candy home. You would
a
always use hard
poverty-stricken
candy.
child in that era wouldn't have been able to puncture a hard graham cracker exterior home with just their teeth.
That's absolutely right, Taylor. It would have to be some sort of a gingerbread door to provide passage for the children. Yes.
Dude, Hansel and Gretel, they deserve what they got.
Yeah.
Those dumbasses leaving
I'll take
food.
that hard stance. I don't care all the haters that are going to come forward on Hansel and Gretel.
I almost want to
but
bring
yeah,
my
that-
dad in
that's-
on this. I want to know where he's the one who goes to Bible school 4 days a week because they don't offer a fifth.
He would probably be team hard candy on the outside.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're coming
I'm
from.
like almost, or I could be totally wrong. I'm almost positive that he was hardening the Pharaoh's heart even prior to the first engagement to make sure. And I am positive that the Hebrews were spared from the ramifications of all of the plagues. So,
Chiz
maybe
qualified?
she should come to the Church of Taylor, which is tangentially related to the Church of Kyle.
Can Chiz look it up? Is that a possible thing?
Oh, it is. He's got the internet. Chiz,
Chiz, are you connected to the internet?
Yes.
I
just
think
meant,
what
is
they
he
want to know
qualified
is
to look it up?
at what point the Pharaoh's heart was hardened by the Lord God Almighty. And while you're at it, find out about that gingerbread house because they are equally relevant.
Kyle keeps proposing candies that aren't even waterproof. I don't know where he's coming from.
Exactly. Well, and all of the depictions that I have seen from the Good Book, aka Grimm's fairy tales, the outside of the house is often a marshmallowy substance, and that just would not would not be able. I mean, there'd be
The rain would destroy it.
You would have to put some sort of frosting on it to make it rain-proof, I would think.
You wouldn't eat hard candy. You would eat hard candy on the outside.
Get that dude Vsauce on it. Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. So, you may have heard that children hundreds of years ago were capable of penetrating gingerbread with just their teeth. But did you know in order to hold up a roof on a house that size, it would have to be 5 inches thick? Now, could a child's teeth from that time penetrate that gingerbread wall? Today we're going to find out.
No, because they're English kids and their teeth are awful.
Oh, shit!
I feel like whenever we start arguing about whether the Pharaoh's heart was hardened at point A or point B, we should stop and remember that we're literally arguing about what a gingerbread house was made out of. It's pretty much the exact same thing. I get so frustrated. They're allegories. They're allegories.
All right, here's a quick down of the key biblical data.
Right.
3 times Yahweh said he hardened Pharaoh's heart. You haven't read the whole thing yet, Wood. 6 times Yahweh actually hardens Pharaoh's heart. 7 times the hardening is expressed as a divine passive from Yahweh, as the implied subject Pharaoh's heart was hardened by Yahweh. And 3 times we are told Pharaoh hardened his own heart. Oh, well, there you go. No, that doesn't make sense, because Exodus 8:15, 8:32, and 9:34 are way after Exodus 21, where he actually hardened the heart.
What the fuck? I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. Y'all motherfuckers lost me on this one.
Oh, you don't know your Bible like I do, I guess.
No, I went to church every week, and I don't know anything about hardening hearts.
That's
They harden those hearts.
I don't get how you guys who went to Bible school for so long the same way I did didn't pick like some of it up too. Like, how do you not remember?
I
it all?
did.
I know.
Well,
Did Kyle go to Bible school? I didn't know that.
I went to church. Every morning.
Every morning. That's a busy church schedule.
Yeah, I mean, every every
Kyle,
morning.
It's Wednesday. Get the fuck out of here.
No, we went every.
We really appreciate your devotion to the Lord.
We went 7 days a week. There was communal wine, so why wouldn't you be there?
Oh, okay.
And you go to Sunday school.
Well, you were learning, so you could start your own church
Honestly,
someday.
I got suckered with that VeggieTales propaganda. I loved it. It put on the Larry the cucumber and whatever the fuck the tomato.
Archibald the fucking what is that? What is that called? Asparagus.
Yes. Oh, those were good. Chiz is right. That series still holds up.
You know what?
It teaches you how to live your life.
I bet you that. I
live my life by that cucumber every day, and what it told me to do.
I bet you there's porn of VeggieTales.
I just wonder if you could use VeggieTale lines to pick up Tinder chicks.
There's definitely porn of VeggieTales.
Kyle jumped in quick on that one.
Total failure. You're looking for Simpsons, Woody.
I don't need the Lord to harden me.
You may be harder than the Pharaoh's heart.
You're sluttier than Jezebel, who was eventually beheaded.
It's true.
Pickle Rick and Larry the Cucumber. I don't want to watch that.
No, it's just a picture. There's no video.
Bump that. Get that degeneracy.
Look, this is what modern day America's brought to us. VeggieTales, Rick and Morty, porn, pickle, cucumber crossover.
I just went back to my tabs, and frankly, that image of those two pickles making out isn't half as revolting as that goddamn banquet dinner.
I was joking the other day about Bash, and I remembered that time that you wrestled Bash outside the outside the elevator doors of a hotel.
Oh, I remember that.
You took him down, and I was like, and someone was, I don't remember who I was talking to. It was someone else who had been there, and we were laughing about it. It was funny, and I was like, you know why he went after Bash, right? Because his father told him that the blacks are the mark of the beast, and what he is on. Did your mother happen to come back after Taylor's Bible story and have any corrections?
I haven't spoken to her since the Bible story.
I'd love to hear her take on Moses.
Mom, give me a call. Let me know what you think. You need to watch the Bible story first. I'm sure it's time-stamped in the previous PKA.
Yeah. I think it was pretty accurate.
Taylor,
a lot of good facts.
Taylor, what were you taught that the mark of the beast was? Because I have heard like racist, silly people say that African American,
I've
black
never heard
people.
that.
No, we were never taught anything like that. Like the mark of the beast thing, like for us was like having to do with Revelation, where they're like, oh, and you will know people because they will be marked by the beast, you know, and their whole interpretation was like, there's going to come a time when you need, like, you know, it might even be like a government chip that you have to have installed in your hand to make any kind of purchases or anything. And
maybe
that's
I'm
kind
using
of
the
what
wrong term there, because I'm referring to like the descendants of Cain.
Oh, okay. So those who like, when he's like, and your ancestors will serve your brother's ancestors and all that. Yeah, they never went over that with us. They never told us what that meant. Or,
Yeah, I've definitely heard people say that black people are the descendants of Cain.
I think back in the olden days of the Mormon Church, I think they might, and I don't know much about Mormonism to be fair. I think they might have believed that black people, like, because they didn't allow like black pastors in the Mormon Church until like the fucking 70s or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick Google on this.
But other than that,
Curse
Mormons
and the
are very
Mark
nice.
of Cain. Yeah, Mark of Cain is what I was looking for.
Mark of Cain. What does it say?
The Curse of Cain and the Mark of Cain are phrases that originate from the story of Adam and Eve in the Jewish and Christian Bibles. In the stories, if someone did something to harm Cain, the damage would come back sevenfold. Some interpretations viewed as a physical mark, whereas other interpretations see the mark as a sign and not a physical marking on Cain himself. I also have seen paintings where Cain was given horns, you know, and
Yeah,
so,
they got a little dramatic back in the day. You know,
it was
you
a
had to
story
sell it.
about. I mean, the first part of the story was literally a snake. That's what they begin with, like a talking snake, like, you know, tempting a woman into not eating a magical apple. I don't think they're going too far out on a limb if they give Cain horns for killing his brother.
Well, and I mean, you know, Eve gets a bad rap for that because
No.
Adam was there too.
She deceived Adam. You know, she was. You know, you're gonna listen to your wife.
Yeah.
The Mark
I
of
guess
the Beast thing.
Oh, go ahead.
You know what it is? To me, it sounds crazy, right? And I talk to my father, and he'll say things like, "The Bible is a perfect book. It's never been wrong. It's completely infallible. Everything about it is perfect. It's the Word of God. There's no way it could not be the Word of God. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so perfect because man's so fallible." And Mark of the Beast thing, like, he seriously entertained the idea that it was the new iWatch, right? Because I think it goes on your hand and you can use it to pay, and it has Apple Pay in it. And
Yeah, you can do it with your phone, right? Why wouldn't the phone be the Mark of the Beast? You know,
Because
why is making it smaller? And it's not like
There's
when you put it
literally
on your
a
wrist, you're
microchip
stuck.
that you can have put in your palm to like RFID things. You know, like
I didn't
there's
know
lots
about
of stuff
that. But the watch has Apple Pay, I think, built into it, and you can pay with it. And I think Mark of your Beast, it tells you where it goes. Is it like on the back of your right hand or the wrist of your right hand or something?
You may be right. I don't recall. I think it was on forehead. Yeah, that's what Chiz is saying. I guess he looked it up.
Yeah, I always thought it was on the forehead.
Oh.
I think either forehead or hand. I think one of those.
Yeah,
is right. It doesn't matter. It's not real.
Yeah, we were New Testament Christians. We really focused on like the
I'm gonna Google it
forgiveness
real
and the
quick.
universal love and.
Here is the.
Yeah. Not so much on ripping on people who eat shellfish or mix fabrics.
The almost every
It's on-
lesson.
Oh, actually, it was, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. So
I'll take the hand.
Yeah, right.
The way that's always portrayed is like a 666. It seems like.
Yeah.
It's not an iWatch in the Bible.
Which like the Bible has enough traction now that if it was like new from Apple, 66, the iPhone 666, like they'd be like, we just finished 10. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, how'd
Like,
that happen?
It's not going to
They
work
did
out. People are
skip
gonna see
9.
through it. Yeah.
They're on their way.
Did they really? I don't.
They did
Track.
skip 9.
They
There's
did
a reason. Oh, because it was their 10-year anniversary, and they didn't do anything special for the 9. Or something happened.
Yeah, I just think the Bible's full of like contradictions, though.
It's a perfect book.
It seems like they're always contradicting. I bet if you Google biblical contradictions, you'd have like pages of them. It seems like it's always saying do this, do that, and one breath it's like, oh, forgive this, forgive that, love your enemies like your brother, do unto them as you would have do unto you, and then the next chapter it's like, talking about how to sell your daughter, and I love that. I've been watching The West Wing, and I just got to the part where Josiah, the president, like owns that Christian chick in there. He's like, I was wondering, what would be a good price to sell my daughter for, and also my brother. He's been planting 2 crops in the same field. Should I stone him to death, or can I have someone else do it for me? And he's like going through
I noticed you're wearing 2 different fabrics. What would be a good punishment for you?
Yeah.
My daughter had shellfish. Should I kill her? Like
a stern beating should be enough. Yeah, there's a lot of contradictions in the Bible. I mean, the Moses story I told last week had contradictions. Like, there's a huge thing about how, God gave free will to man so they could make their own decisions and choose whether or not to follow him and spend eternity with him in heaven. Like, aside from the fact that you can't give someone free will, that's kind of tautological, right? Like, they didn't have a choice to accept it, so it was forced upon them in a way. But God breaks his own rule. With Pharaoh, he's like, God, I'm going to send frogs, like, frankly, plague 1, when I turn all the water to blood, anyone on earth is going to go, Jesus Christ, yeah, sure, I'll whatever, let him leave. But God knew that would happen, purportedly, and so he had to jump into his own scheme and be like, but I gotta toy with this guy. I gotta change the stats on his hard heart to make sure he doesn't ruin my whole play that I'm basically making here. So there's so many contradictions in the Bible, but it's the same. A lot of people are with like any kind of religion or political thing, where like they have a foregone conclusion. Oh, am I breaking up?
Yeah, you're fine now.
It seemed to get better.
Oh, I was like people go into things with a foregone conclusion, where it's like, with the Bible, any new information you receive, you already have your mind made up, so you just assimilate that information into your pre-constructed worldview. Like, you don't allow it to take you off course. Same with like all the people who are like, oh, what Trump is doing is 4D chess, and it's like, no, you've already made your mind up, and then anything he does gets in. You suck that into your pre-packaged worldview. No matter what he does, it's 4D chess, or no matter what God says or does, or what happens on the earth with, earthquakes and tornadoes and innocent children dying under bridges. Like, you gotta force that in there. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's meant to be a book of allegories. So,
yeah.
These are supposed to be.
Are you sure? I'm sorry, I cut you off. Is it meant to be a big scam someone ran a long time ago? A way to not have a normal job?
All right, well, it's all of the above.
It's about to get money out of people by making them your followers. Is that what it still is?
It's that too. Well, that's religion, right? But the Bible's stories are often, some of them have historical basis. That's been proven. Like the locations, the timelines, in some situations are just factually accurate. There's geological evidence and corresponding texts from other religions and other parts in the world that agree that like certain things in there just happened, like historical facts are present. But a lot of the stories are allegories. They're just like Aesop's fables or fairy tales or bedtime stories. That are meant to be cautionary tales, or you're meant to take something from them beyond the literal interpretation. You're not supposed
teach you a moral lesson.
It's not supposed to be about, oh shit, well God, David just slew a Goliath. That's a story about a tiny Jewish man who beat up a giant whose shield was as large as a car hood. No, it's not. It's about overcoming overwhelming odds, but with ingenuity and faith in yourself. But the people take it so literally. None of those stories that are mystical and magical are meant to be taken literally.
The Catholic Church embraces evolution. Officially, they're like, yeah, this is the way that God made everything. And if I were a Christian or religious, I feel like that would make more sense. You'd be like, if God is great, why wouldn't he be able to do it this way?
But one of the challenges for me, like when you do the whole religion versus science thing, is that science says this is a theory and this is the way we think until we're proven wrong. Religion says we are right, we can't possibly be wrong, anyone who disagrees with me is wrong, and then they hold on to that position until it is completely indefensible and then change it. And it's like, but wait, no, you were the can't change party. You made these rules, not me.
Yeah, it's that's when you get into the the human factor of the whole thing. You know, like when there was a point where a bunch of Roman senators sat around and voted on which books went in and which books went out, what stuff should be cut and what should be left in. They literally.
That wasn't Roman senators. That was the Council of. It was either the Council of Nicaea or the Council of Trent.
What was
where,
where they basically were they a governing body of?
Oh, I don't know specifically.
I thought that was Constantinople. Like after
Constantine just made it the official religion of the Roman Empire after he won a battle where he thought he saw a cross or something as he was fighting, or a star. I don't remember exactly.
The night before, he saw like a flaming cross in the sky and took that as a sign. And so the next day before battle, he had the crucifix put on all the shields of his men, and they won the battle. And so he converted the Roman Empire to Christianity. Whereas before, they'd been, burning them alive and pouring hot lead down their throats and feeding them to lions and shit.
Yeah, they didn't treat Christians too well in the beginning, and then they got treated much better. So
yeah, then it became the fucking Roman official religion, right? They got rid of all those Roman gods. Man, those Roman gods are cool. Even the Greek gods, I wish we had that. Like if that was still a religion, that's just such a much cooler religion. How each part of life has its own god, and there's a. I like that a lot. The Catholics kind of have that with the saints, though, right? Which I find bizarre.
Oh yeah, my I don't know if you guys have any Catholics in your family.
No.
My dad's side of the family is very Catholic, which just means every family gathering is a lot of fun because they get wine drunk and nobody, it's just a good time. But my grandma used to keep these patron saint statues around. And there's a patron saint for fucking everything. She was trying to sell her house, and so she kept the patron saint of real estate.
I had no idea
that'd
be a thing.
In the back. It's everything. There were apparently a lot of good saints, and I guess the first 24 took all the good shit. So then in later life, they're like, you have a lot of children. You can be the patron saint of kindliness, and they're like, that one got taken up 400 years ago, and they're like, all right, how do you feel about car washes? It's all right, the patron saint of fresh breath.
My wife is Catholic to some extent, and she often prays the patron saint of lost things. Is it Saint Andrew? I forget. But you can't find your car keys or exactly where the peanut butter is in the pantry. That's what you pray to. Jesus.
Yep, Saint Anthony, the patron saint of lost items. Oh, literally this came up. People also ask, which saint helps you sell your house? Yeah, you can choose to bury Saint Joseph 1 foot underground, again, to make Joseph work harder to leave the ground and quickly find a nice home. That's
not cool.
Next to your for sale sign, even if it is in the front yard.
I'm going to start worshiping a frog.
Dig up the Saint Joseph statue and give it a place of honor in your new home.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Man.
Yeah, whenever I see that in a movie, that's really the only place I get, I see that is when they're breaking out a necklace with a saint on it. They're like, oh yeah, this is Saint Jubity Jew. He's the patron saint of lost causes, home, personal computer repair, and soft drinks. Well, that sounds pretty good. That's my guy. All right. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. They believe that I get believing there's an omnipotent God up there. I almost sign off on that. But to believe that there's some dead guys up there hanging out with God, and they're what are they? They're like a phone bank, and each of them are receiving those calls, lost keys in home sales department. How can I help you? Yeah, Saint Anthony here. Is that what the fuck is that? That's so retarded.
The whole thing seems retarded from my shoes, right? It just look, this thing all started because people couldn't explain rainfall or dry summers or something, and now we've advanced all the way to helping you find your car keys, and it's the most perfect book to have ever been written. Yet there's contradictions and there's morality things in there that don't fit any reasonable standard of morality anymore. Like Jeb Bartlett pointed out in the TV show. And it's just God, you're the one who came up with this is all perfect rule set. And it's clearly wildly, shattered all over the place. It doesn't make much sense to me. But I haven't been given the gift of faith.
You have not. And again, ironically, if God is handing out the gift of faith to people, that's impacting their free will. So it's not really free
Taylor,
if he can give faith to people.
I just found a website full of Taylor's Bible stories.
What?
Yeah, like not yours specifically, but
is it called?
It's this deism website. Like here's one for zombies. Here's references to zombies in the Bible. I haven't pre-read this, so forgive me. Starting at Matthew 27:50 and reading through verse 53, we see that. Let's see. Let me put the center screen.
Well, this could be a gold for the show. Yes.
Whoever the author of the Gospel of Matthew was, as well as the Christian leaders who voted the Bible to be the Word of God and voted the Gospel of Matthew into the Bible, wanted people to believe that Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded upon up the ghost, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain. Oh, I hate this writing. God
That's
wrote
perfect.
this from the top of the mountain, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of saints which slept arose. And he came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. Based on this biblical nonsense, we are to believe that when Jesus died on the cross on Friday, the gospel contradicts each other regarding the time of the alleged crucifixion, with John 19:14 claiming that it was after the 6th hour, and Mark 15:25 claiming that it was at the 3rd hour that they crucified him. The graves around Jerusalem opened up, and the dead bodies came back to life. These zombies hung out in their graves from sometime on Friday until Sunday morning, at which time Jesus allegedly came back to life too, at which time the zombies in the cemeteries around Jerusalem actually went into the holy city of Jerusalem and appeared unto many. This is literally about zombies.
It is.
Great. If you look on the left side of the column, whole bunch of these.
Well, look for these in future PKAs to come.
The kosher
This is
scam
interesting.
/ superstition. Jewish superiority. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. What website am I going to?
Wait, what website are we on? We're on deism.com?
Is that bad? Do you know of deism.com?
I don't know deism.com.
Oh, I
Deism
thought.
means you believe in a god. I was just saying that it was interesting for them to take that Jewish turn in their...
Yeah, I thought. I didn't even know what deism was about. And Taylor's like, we're on deism.com? Like, suddenly, like, I know where we are. Holy shit. Why are we on this site?
This is David Duke's homepage. Is that the Grand Cyclops on the toolbar? Oh my god! Every time I
Farrakhan
click,
tweets shit about this all the time.
when you click refresh, a black man gets hung. Oh!
Jesus Christ.
Kyle's over there. Refresh. I found a whole website of biblical contradictions. And that's not saying anything because there were hundreds of these. Because, I even went through the phase where I was like super, super anti-religion. Because having been raised that way my whole life, and like you finally kind of figure out like, hey, this isn't real. Like this is made up. Like you feel lied to almost,
Yeah.
right?
Scammed
Like it
because
doesn't
they
cross
take
your
our money.
mind. It doesn't cross your mind as much of like, oh, these people, they sincerely believe it and they thought they were doing the best they could to raise you. Like as far as teachers or pastors and shit, like your first instinct is like, fuck, I've been lied to. They must know it on some level too.
And defraud.
Like, yeah, well, I didn't give money to the church.
I did.
Why?
This is what you did. They pass a fucking plate around like
And I
pity
quickly
donations.
gave it to the next person.
I gave money to the church, hoping that Hope would get into their kindergarten. And she... Not exactly. She was at like the top of the wait list, so she would have.
Oh, it's time for a hate crime.
Yeah, dude, I've talked about this church too many times, but they ruined church for me. Like, we got to give it a shot. It wasn't that I was really into God. I was just kind of looking for a community.
Fellowship.
You know? Yeah, it was like, all right, so here's a place I could meet people. They'd be my friends. They'd be families, perhaps good people. Who knows? And like, I could be part of a church community and like just see what. Like, I'll give it a go. What the hell? And the church was just too hardcore. Like, oh, do you want your kid to go to school here? We'll need your time, your talent, your treasure. Treasure, especially. Yeah, that's kind of the big one. And
The
they're
first
like,
two don't really matter. Yeah.
and
Yeah, they just and you know, I thought we gave a lot, and oh, by the way, like it wasn't like they do pass the plate around, but more than that, they ask for your like bank account details and permission to make automatic withdrawals, and that didn't sit right with me. Like that just seemed like a
Yeah, that's skeevy as fuck.
Like,
you're supposed
you
to
know-
be giving out of the goodness of your heart, not like a electrical
Woody
bill.
doesn't even let Netflix auto debit. He's month to month, baby.
Every month he mails in that money order.
You know what? I'm sure this isn't the attitude they're going for, but to me, like if times got tight, right? Like if something went wrong, the donations might be one of the first things that dry up. You know, that probably the church says that should be the last thing that dries up. But
Absolutely.
like, you know, when fucking mortgages need to be paid and people need to be fed and clothed and such, the church might have to take a rest on their, you know, hand in my pocket. And when they were doing the sort of automatic deduction thing from my bank account, I didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, they would always just pass the plate around, and we throw, we throw cash in there, and I just remember thinking, like, you know, I asked at one point as a child, you know, how do we get the money to God? You know, does he show up and like the money just disappears like a tooth fairy type scenario, or
Third Sunday of the month.
And my mom's like, well, this is God doesn't get the money. That bald fucker up there who's telling all them lies does. Of course, that's not what she said. She said the preacher gets all the money. And I was like, you mean that guy up there with that nice suit that lives in that big house next door? Yeah, him. I think he's doing okay. What's he doing with it? Well, you know, it pays his salary and for, you know, all the church materials. And I'm like, when was the last time we saw a new Bible in here? It's not like he's what do you need to get volume 2? Like is there a new one coming out?
We've been using the same hymnals for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not like we're
These
like coming up
pews
with
last 100 years.
Nobody's spitting out new hymns. It's like, all right, now we're handing out.
Once a month, you got 15 old ladies coming in here cooking up a bake sale to raise money, where everybody's throwing in $5 or $10 or $20 a piece into this bucket.
Per muffin.
And this fucker's getting up there and telling us lies for 2 hours a week. He's got a hell of a racket. That was the moment where I should have seen that the Church of Kyle could be a great thing. If I had started on that day, I would be established by now. I would forget flamethrowers.
Who the fuck is the guy from Waco, Texas?
Don't say David Koresh.
You'd be David Koresh by now. You'd be David Koresh by now,
But
Kyle.
that's the thing about the Church of Kyle. It would never work long term because one of the key tenets
That's
is
a beautiful moment. Don't say David Koresh.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't think
obviously,
you know much about David Koresh.
obviously your church is going to involve fucking everyone in the church in one way or another.
Allegedly.
until the
Burn
fucking
them all
feds
alive.
come in and ruin the Church of Kyle.
Alive.
One thing in favor of church,
Are you
like,
thinking of Madam
David
Albright
Koresh
or
and the French
whoever?
Davidians. They were
Yeah.
both alive.
Yeah. Well, the feds did that, not Koresh. Koresh was happy to just keep fucking.
He
them.
was burned along with them.
Yes, but he's not a burn. He's not. It was the government that did the burning.
I
Koresh
know!
received the burn.
I
felt like you
know!
were painting David Koresh in a harsh light.
who was it that did the Jonestown? That's what it was, where everybody killed themselves.
That's not what Kyle would do.
No, but there's audio of him like talking to his congregation, I suppose, and like convincing them, like, yeah, and make sure your kids drink this too. You know, you'll be with them soon. Like, tell the kids to stop crying. Like, you hear like children and women like weeping and crying, and he's like, tell everyone to stop crying. Just tell them it's it's medicine that they need, and you'll all be together soon. You'll all be together soon.
The term drink, the
So
phrase
fucked.
"drink the Kool-Aid" comes from,
Yeah.
because the poison was in Kool-Aid.
that.
It was in
Yeah.
Flavor Aid.
Yeah, that's why that's sort of synonymous with
I always thought it was
buying
older than
buying into sort of a lie or a scam. Once you drink the Kool-Aid, you're in. You know,
Who's saving money buying Flavor Aid versus Kool-Aid when you're putting it into a suicide beverage? Just spring for the name brand. Like, you don't need it.
I put it on my MasterCard.
Where were you? Yeah, right.
Ooh, I bought it at a grocery store, 2% back. Like
I don't know. Religion just seems like such a horrible thing.
See, the community that it provides is valuable, I think.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Like the whole thing, what he was talking about, wanting a community.
A softball team provides, except you don't have to. You know, your money goes to equipment, and there's no threat of going to hell.
And you get to get drunk.
Absolutely.
In the middle of the game.
Baptist.
If you drink at church, they frown on it unless it's from their nasty ass cup that everybody else's lips are on.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever take communion?
No, never did that. Maybe once, but I wasn't part of it. I think I saw that happen once. But yeah, I wasn't part of that. I didn't want. I was honestly, and I think it was grape juice too. You know.
Yeah, most non-Catholic places do grape juice, but I remember doing it at Catholic church, like when I'd go there with family who was Catholic, and like you walk up there to the old ass priest, and then he like you can either stick your tongue out or put your hand out, and I was shocked at how many people just stuck their tongue out for him to like place this wafer on. And it's like, that's disgusting.
Nomine Patri, Filio Sancte, herpes on you.
Yeah, he's doing all that, and it's like, no, just right in the palm, thanks. I'll take the flesh of Christ back at my seat.
Why is it? It sounds to me like in your head it's much cleaner to receive it in your palm. But it's not. There's just an extra hand in the transaction.
But his hand, that's true. I didn't thought that, but I was just thinking like his hand is like at least touching a couple people's tongues. Like he's not like throwing it like a hibachi chef, where he's like, "Hey, you over there? I've got a little god for you."
So what you want is
I love church.
You need everyone to be at the School of Taylor, because as it is, you're just adding a hand to the mix. But if everyone took it in their hand, they wouldn't be part of the problem.